Monty Python would say, enough of this gay banter.
Indeed.
And now for something completely different.
Terrible English accents.
And now for something completely different. Another terrible British accent. Okay, so who was leveling?
I just leveled.
You done it, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I did it.
I'll put you onto this map for the moment. Cormier Coast.
Okay, can you give me a half a second? I actually just need to teleport out of here and then close the game, and then I'm good to go.
Alright. Well, I'll do a narrative while you're doing that, yeah?
Yeah, that's all good. I can listen.
Okay. So last time you finished up in the tower and the dungeon, and you came up out into morning or midday sunlight. It's cold, but it's not raining. It's a bit cloudy and a bit grey and a bit dull, a bit cold, and it's a bit windy as well. And you're in a forest, and you can hear the wind whistling through the trees as you wander. Now, if you look at the map that I put on the screen, you should be able to see where you are. Is you're in that little forest where it says Sunset Hill at the top. Can you see that map?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so that's where you are. You're actually in the very, very left-hand side of that forest, so you're not far at all. So clearly you've come from somewhere. You head up through the forest and you spend the rest of the day going through this forest. Simple as that. It's huge. I mean, as you can see from this map, it's absolutely enormous. And Rain, you're in the lead because you're very, very at home in the forest, being a ranger.
Yep.
For those of you following, you notice that Ferron Vandel is almost like a ghost in the forest. Sometimes he moves behind a tree and you can hardly see him, and he's obviously lived his entire life in this sort of environment and is very, very at home here. He steers you round any issues, any holes in the ground, anything like that at all. You don't find any other intelligent creatures, but you do find a lot of small woodland creatures in trees, jumping from branch to branch, flying about here and there as you head through the forest.
I missed the travel day when we got to that thing we explored. Do we have like horses or anything, or are we on foot?
You're on foot.
Okay.
Yeah. You inquired, or somebody inquired about horses at the last town. Unfortunately, they said that they don't have any for sale.
Now we should have kept Chilled around to carry our stuff.
Yeah.
I've done a blood sacrifice with him.
Maybe not in this game, but it's still a good idea.
Yeah.
So whenever we start up the evil campaign, we'll just have Chilled's character there, like at the beginning, and we're, doing a blood sacrifice on him.
He can
that's
be
not a
the
bad
arch
idea.
nemesis of the evil campaign.
Can't we
We
come
should
around just for that? Just to sacrifice him at some point?
Yeah, everyone is tormented by mage hands. Like, they're just like crawling all over us trying to steal our loot.
So in all seriousness, back to the game.
Yeah.
So wait, we've crossed that are we on the Immer Trail, or have we crossed over the river leading to Wervenwater, or in that sort of green? We're in that green patch. Okay.
Yeah, you're up there. Going back to Chilled, and this is a sensible question. Do you want me to retcon that he never existed at all and he wasn't part of it, or what do you want to happen? I don't care really.
I think
I
we
don't
say
care.
he died. I'd rather him die in that
Let's just say
Like-
we parted ways at that town. Like,
yeah.
he kind of went off and
I got a
did
good
his thing,
idea.
and we went and did ours.
You can bring him back as a DM.
Yeah, and that way we can bring him back in an evil campaign, and we can murder him.
What's it called? Maybe while we were in that catacombs, when we were picking up the rock in that like broken down corridor, he just had to pick up one last rock and the entire thing collapsed on him.
We don't know what happened to him. He could be alive, he could be dead.
Alright, that's fine. Okay, so the afternoon draws on into evening, and you can now see the edge of the forest, but it's probably going to be safer for you to camp just inside the forest, where you have more shade, shelter, and cover from the road. Well, that's what you think anyway, Ferron.
Okay.
And what you do is you find a tree that's fallen over, and it's ripped up a whole area of ground with it, and it's created this sunken area with almost like a bivouac style roof over the top that clearly has been like this for decades, and people have used as a good camping point anyway. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I get what you mean. So we
What
should
time of
rest
day is
here.
it?
Like that, basically, but more hollowed out.
Oh, nice.
But bigger and more hollowed out. It's been obviously like it for decades, and what they've done is they've pared all the roots back and dug down a little bit and created this nice little sunken shelter. Someone has.
What time of day did you say it was?
The sun is now starting to dip down towards the horizon, so it's late afternoon, early evening now. It looks like that there is a campsite, a campfire spot near here as well, should you wish to have one.
Yeah, I think I would agree with the ranger and say it's a good place to camp. Let's camp and set up watches for the night.
I agree.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, who's going to have watches?
If someone wants to watch the first 4 hours, I can watch the rest of the night, no problem.
I'll do the first 4 hours then.
I think we're just gonna have the elves always do it because you guys can get a full rest, right?
Yeah, we might as well just always have it be that as the default.
Okay, so who's in the first one, say again?
Rain, I guess. Or
I can do the
me.
first one's fine.
It doesn't really matter either way around.
Well, whichever one of you is doing the first one, can you please roll me a perception check?
Oh, and
Better perception.
as we're eating dinner before we set up the watches, I want to read one of the stories from that book we got. So, like, I forgot that what the name of the book was. The prophecy book.
The prophecy book. Okay. All of the prophecies in this book are to do with one thing, one thing that's happened numerous times over the centuries. And this is a meteorite falling to Earth. Now, they go under different names, falling stars, God knows what, and they're all going back in history have some kind of religious or spiritual significance attributed to them. Whether or not it is warranted is a different matter, but they're all used to signify some occurrence happening. And the story that you have found is one of the first ones in the book, and this was about 1,000 years ago, is the star fell to the ground in Cormier, which is where you are, and it signified the birth of a man who grew up to be a very, very great warrior, and he joined the tribe, or warring tribes of two villages together, and stopped all of the bloodshed, and became the chieftain of this one unified tribe in this whole area, and reigned for about 60 years until his death. And it's embellished. There's a lot more than that, but it's a really interesting story about this man's life and about how the star prophesized that it will be something amazing occurring, and the sages at the time used divination to realize that actually it was the star signified on this occurrence the birth of this great warrior that united the tribes. So it's quite an engrossing story, and there's loads more of them in the book.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you eat. Are you having a campfire, or are you going to have a cold camp?
I mean, I guess it's the ranger.
I guess we asked
feels
the ranger.
safe, I would have a campfire.
I'm happy with a cold camp. If others want a campfire, then that's fine by me.
Okay.
I'm okay with the cold camp.
Makes no difference to me.
I guess we're
Yeah,
having a
cold
cold
camp be
camp.
fun.
Cold camp. And it is cold as well. The temperature does plummet when the sun goes down. And you find yourselves almost subconsciously, involuntarily sheltering in this fallen trees lee side away from the wind. It's quite cold. The wind is just whistling through. You're missing most of it as passing over the top of you, but you are catching it, especially those of you who are out having a watch, because you can't really watch from inside here. It's bitter.
Should have made a campfire, guys.
Okay. If
We'll
it's
have
that
extra
cold.
clothes.
Well, we can't now. We decided not to, but I guess we'll be more aware of the temperature next time.
Well, you can build one if you wish. It's just that's what you don't build
Okay.
one, and then you think, Christ, actually it's quite cold. But
Well, I think if it
You-
is
you-
that cold, are we like shivering and stuff? Then I think I would suggest it's gonna
I
be
think we do what Anasim suggested.
I would probably just put on like my
Lost
second
in
set of
sound.
clothes and use that to kind of keep me warm.
Okay. We're not doing a campfire then. We'll just try to huddle up and pass the night.
that was weird. I lost all sound. Back again.
I knew you'd want to huddle up.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, so Ferron, you're on the first watch.
Yep.
And you've got yourself just up a tree. You found a nice thick branch about 8 foot up that's shrouded nicely where you are. You're protected from the wind. You're very, very difficult to see from the ground. You've got a good commanding view of the road, and you thought perfect. And you put yourself up there, and you're having a good look about. As you are looking, the clouds have parted quite a bit, and the moon is not full, but it's getting there, and it's very bright. Walking down the road from your west, from your right hand side, is a man, just one man on his own. It's about midnight now, and he's just wandering down the middle of the road. He's got a stick, not a walking stick or a staff, just a stick, and he's dragging it along the ground behind him and just kind of poking into the ground, and almost like a kid when a kid wanders around with a stick and hits fence posts with it, that sort of thing. That's what he's doing behind him, just to the ground and so on. And he appears to be humming to himself, just wandering along the road. Hasn't seen you at all. Hasn't seen any of you.
Okay, I've got my crossbow. Sorry, my longbow drawn, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I choose to have it, and I've got it pointed at him. Watching him go past. If he notices us at all, I want to very quickly alert the group. But
Okay.
if he doesn't, then I'm happy for him to just walk past.
Right. When he gets level with you, that is not the group, because you're a distance away from the group, he stops, turns, and waves at you with a big smile on his face, just waves at you, turns back the way he's going and carries on walking. He's not walking fast by any means. He's dawdling, basically. And you can hear he's kind of like going doo 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 under his breath as he's dragging the stick along behind him.
How well hidden am I? Would it be very hard for him to see me?
Yes, very.
Wait, but didn't you just wave at him? No.
Yeah. I mean, you saw him. He turned and he looked at you and waved at you.
Yeah, I just
then
wanted
turned
to
back
know
and
how,
looked
like,
at you.
whether a normal person would be able to just see me.
Well, a normal person would be able to see you if they were really, really, really good. Another ranger who was looking for somebody in your general area and lucked out would be able to see you. Just somebody walking along the road who turned his head to the left-hand side and waved at you, that's a bit more sus.
And he doesn't do anything but wave and keep walking.
Yeah, wave and keep walking.
Okay, I'll let him go. Just
Okay.
keep my longbow on him though.
Yeah. He
But
gets about...
the second like the next shift starts, I'd say I will like let the next watch know exactly what happened.
He gets about 100 yards down the road and then he stops in the middle of the road, and as you look, he appears to take off one of his shoes and tips something out. He's holding it upside down, he's tapping the bottom. He puts it back on his foot, stands up, dusts his butt down from the dust and his legs, picks up his stick, turns, waves at you again, and wanders off. I mean, he's now about 100 yards away. The only reason you can see him is because it's cloudless and the moon is so bright. Him looking back into the forest, at this distance, 300 foot, there's no way he should be able to pick out which tree you're in, but he looks at you and waves at you and turns back, puts his back to you and carries on walking down the road.
Okay, I'll let him go.
Okay. He looked to be of average height. He's wearing darkish coloured clothing, got a white shirt, so he's got a waistcoat, dark coloured waistcoat, dark coloured trousers with a white shirt. No bags with him at all, by the way. No bags at all, no satchels, no pouches on his belt, nothing, just apart from this stick. No weapons either that you could see, just this stick. And he wanders off. You watch him. You've got a good commanding view. This is the reason you picked this tree of the road, maybe 400 yards before it goes up and over a rise. And you watch as he goes up and over this rise and disappears down the other side, doesn't stop or anything, just goes, gone.
Okay.
As you do that, you hear a scrabbling sound. You look back down the road and you see a cat go running down the road after him. The cat looks a bit odd. It's a small domestic-sized cat. It looks a bit odd. You can't quite make out what. It's like maybe it's got something on its back, and it follows the road. Nothing moving on his back, a package or something, and it just legs it down the road in that direction. And it just goes.
So it's gone now.
Yeah, I mean, you watch it because it's so small. You lose sight of it about 200 yards away. It's a greyish cat, and it fades into the grey of the road at that point, and you can't make it out anymore. But it was just heading straight down the road.
Okay.
Right, you wake up, Griffin, I believe.
Yep.
Delgar.
Yes, I just changed it.
Good stuff.
Thought it'd make it easier.
Definitely, thank you.
I just like shake his shoulders and say, "Your turn to watch." A guy came past. How long ago was this?
Probably hour and a half, there or thereabouts. About midnight-ish.
Okay, a couple of hours ago, a guy came past. He seemed harmless. He was only holding a stick, no weapons on him. But he did see me when I don't feel he should have done. And then I just let him go. He didn't seem to be any threat. He kept walking. And then about 30 seconds later, a domestic cat came tearing up the road behind him, had a small package on its back, and just ran out of range. I don't think there's any threat, but you know, if anyone like that comes back, then wake me up straight away.
Definitely, I'll make sure to keep the whole to wake the group up. But thanks for the warning. That was it though. Nothing else.
Nope, that's everything. He was like medium height, black hair.
All right.
No, his hair was lightish,
Oh, okay.
so maybe blonde or light brown or something. His clothing was dark.
Right, okay. He had light hair and dark clothing. He was about medium height.
Did you make out roughly his age at all, or?
No, you couldn't really. It was too dark. You reckon he was probably youngish, but you don't know how old. He's definitely an adult, but a young adult.
Right.
And you're not sure, actually, you're not sure whether he was either a human or an elf. He was quite thin for a human, which could have put him into elven territory, possibly. You couldn't really tell.
All right. Well, thanks for the information. You go rest. I'll keep an eye out. Fast forward to the next day.
Don't tell me what to do. Right. We slow forward to the next day.
Oh, not fast.
Nope.
Fucking hippie.
Just to spite
For
you.
that, a pack
Just
of
a
rocks comes
spite.
down
Yeah,
the road.
just because they get shot through the throat by a fish or something. I don't know.
By that fish.
Right. Okay. Yes. We fast forward to the next day.
Shut up.
The sun rises majestically, and it's a lot warmer now. There's a few clouds in the sky. The wind has abated quite a bit, and it's a damn sight warmer today than it has been for the last couple of days.
Yeah, I wake up chilly, and I say that I'd like to make a small fire and have a hot breakfast before we head out.
Okay. This you can do. Those of you who have spells, if you wish to change them, now's your chance. Are any of you down any hit dice from spending them for healing?
Yes, I only had one.
Right, you've got that back. Every long rest, you get back half of your total number of hit dice back.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I got confused. I read it as like, I know that you get like full health when you rest for a long rest.
yeah.
I don't think you get full health. You can use.
Yeah,
you
you
have
do.
to use your hit die, don't you? Oh no, you get all your health back.
Yeah, short rest is for hit die.
So what's our
Okay.
plan anyway? We're just walking through this forest.
Well, we're trying to get to that other city. I don't remember the name of it at this point, but there was a city that we were supposed to, yeah, Aravel. That's where the mage and the guy with the ornate leather armor are supposed to have been going.
Okay.
So we're trying to go there to try and catch up with them, or
Are we going through the forest because it's a shortcut, or instead of the road?
Yeah, basically. Well, no, the road runs east and west where you are. You've just approached it, but it was a shortcut from the town to the road to go through the forest.
Okay.
So effectively what you need to do now is, now that you've hit the road, is turn left and follow the road left.
Which direction was this guy last night going, by the way? Was he going towards Arabelle or in the forest?
Yes, towards Arabelle, the direction that you'll be going. Okay. You have your breakfast. You feel a lot better for that. A nice warm breakfast, or a nice hot breakfast, I should say, under the nice warm sun. The birds are in the trees tweeting away merrily. You can see squirrels and other animals like rabbits flitting about here and there. And everything looks absolutely fine. So, what are you going to do?
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Head along the road, I suppose.
Okay. You head onto the road and you turn left.
Is it like an actual road, or is it just like a dirt path?
No, it's an actual road. I mean, it's made of dirt, but it's really highly compacted, and they've definitely turned it into a solid road surface. So there are no cart ruts or anything in it. It's good, solid, hard-packed dirt.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to just walk along the road then.
Okay. You eventually come out of the forest completely, because the road does cut through the big forest, the Hullock forest. But it's only maybe 2 or 3 miles that you walk before you come out of the forest, so it's not a problem. And then what you've got ahead of you is more plain land, like you've got on the map here. And the day is relatively uneventful. You stop for lunch briefly, and you carry on going. As the day winds down towards evening, ahead of you you can see a shining river, and you know that this is going to be the bridge at the very, very top of the map there that you would use to cross over in order to carry along the east way towards Arabelle. The bridge is a stone bridge, and it's in very, very good condition as you get up close to it. As you do get close to it, you notice that there appears to be somebody stood on the bridge, and they've got a stick held out in front of them. They appear to be fishing off the side. At the moment, they're very distant.
Sorry, just a aside. You had posted a map at some point of this new region we're in. Do we still have that somewhere?
Let's have a look. Did I post one of this? I'll create one quickly.
I've got the map of Faerun, if that's what you're after.
No, I've got
No.
another map of Cormyr that I'll bung up.
Yeah, we had a look when we were in town at the map of Cormyr, so I wanted to see if we still had that.
There's that, but it's difficult to see.
That's fine. I just figured we had a general map, right? So.
Okay, so if you look at that map, you can click on it and make it bigger. Smack bang in the middle of the map is the Hullock Forest, and there's a road running from Arabelle to the left, all the way to High Moon to the right, through Deepingdale, and that Hullock Forest is about 40 miles or so wide, and you're now at the very, very, very western edge of it, just coming out onto the plainland.
Okay, and yeah, now we're walking towards the west on that road towards Arabelle.
Yeah. Yeah, and you just got to the bridge. Well, you haven't got to the bridge. You come over a rise, and you can see the river and this light stone bridge ahead of you, and upon it is somebody. They're wearing darkish clothing, which contrasts against the light stone of the bridge, and they're definitely fishing.
Am I able to see from this range if it's the same guy from last night?
Far too far away, but as you get closer, you reckon it is.
Okay, guys, I told Delgar this last night, but this guy came past our camp last night. He didn't seem a threat. He wasn't carrying any weapons that I saw, but he definitely he wasn't quite right. He saw me when I don't feel he should have done, a good 300 yards away, he turned around, looked me dead in the eyes, and I was up a tree in the shadows. And a bit later on, a domestic cat, literally about 30 seconds later on, a domestic cat followed him, carrying a package. He didn't seem like he was a threat, but it was definitely something strange about him. And this to me looks like the guy.
I like look at him questioningly and be like, "Are you sure you didn't fall asleep while you're up in that tree?"
I'm positive.
I said, "Well, since he seems to have noticed you, and you said he does seem harmless, maybe you're the one who should initiate contact with him, as we're gonna have to cross this bridge anyway."
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. So we walk up to the bridge, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll follow behind with you.
Okay, you get up to the bridge. You can see the guy now. He's dressed in very rich purple trousers with a purple waistcoat and a white shirt, and he's got longish silvery hair. He looks to be human.
Is he an older gentleman?
No, he's quite young.
Okay.
Early 20s maybe.
All right. And as far as we know, he's not hostile in any way.
No, I mean he's pretty much ignoring you. He's just fishing with this stick over the side.
Okay.
I
All right.
I want to walk up to him and literally stand right next to him and just ask him, "Have you had any luck?"
He says, "No, not yet. I've only been fishing for about an hour." His voice has no real accent to it. I was about ready to give up, actually.
That's too bad. Did I happen to meet you last night?
Oh, were you the one in the tree?
I was indeed.
Oh.
Can I ask how you saw me up that tree?
He kind of blinks at you and slowly points to his eyes.
What about them?
I used them. I just used my eyes.
There's no way any regular human would have been able to see me up that tree, especially the distance you saw me from.
Ah. I understand. Oh, I understand what you mean now. Right, sorry, yes. Was it a good... It's a good spot to be, that tree. It looked it, anyway. Looked quite comfy.
Well, I saw you coming and leaving quite a way away, but you haven't answered my question.
Oh, haven't I? Damn. So sorry. Anyway, where are you off to?
Your eyes, what about them?
I just used them to look at you.
What's special about your eyes that differentiates them from regular humans?
I don't know. I don't know. I've never really talked to another human being about their eyes before. Well, not in detail.
Okay, so I guess we're overhearing this, and
Oh, yeah.
I guess I say, so you mean,
Oh, there's more.
as long as you know, you've been able to see further than other humans, and have more, your eyes have just been like this. As far
I do
as
have very, very good vision. Hello, sorry, didn't see you all there. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm trying to catch some fish. So sorry. Oh, there's a lot of you, isn't there? Were you all with him last night? You weren't up a tree, were you? I didn't see you if you were.
And I was like, well, I guess your vision's not that good, because I was
guess
not. I was like, no, I'm just joking. I was not up the tree.
Ah.
There was only a couple of us up the tree.
Well, there's only you up the tree.
Well, there's only a couple of us up the tree. There was
Well,
more
not
than
at the
me
same
up that
time.
tree.
Not at that point. At the point you were up that tree, you were the only person up that tree.
Then your eyes can't be that good, my friend.
Right.
Well, I'll say, do you happen to have a cat that?
I do.
I see. But where is the cat?
It has a mind of its own. I swear by all the gods, it has a mind of its own. I've no idea. It said it's going to go off and catch some fish, so I presume that's what it's going to do.
What's the package on its back, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't understand. Sorry, it doesn't have a package on its back.
But I'm saying, like, did you just say the cat told you it was going to go catch fish?
Well, not in so many words, no.
Can I roll insight to see if this guy is lying?
Yeah, make an insight roll. In fact, you can all make. Let's have a look.
I'm just wondering because it sounds like so much BS.
Let's have a look. What would be a good one? Yeah, insight. Everybody can make an insight roll.
Finally, something I'm proficient in.
I'm not good at that, but I'll roll.
Okay.
Second. Need to find it.
I just have a 13. I don't have a proficiency in it.
Ooh, nice.
And that's on.
Oh, wait, rolled the wrong thing. There we go.
I'll know if he's lying.
Okay, no, he's not lying, Anatsum. He is not lying. He's a little bit confused, and he is definitely being guarded though. But he's not lying. You don't think he's perfect? His body language is very open, and it looks like he is actually in his own little world because he genuinely did jump when whoever it was spoke to him from behind. He had no idea that there was anyone else there other than Ferron, who was stood next to him talking to him.
Was it your eyes that saw me last night, or was it your cat's eyes?
Oh no, it's definitely mine. Definitely mine. Definitely mine. My cat probably saw you as well, but I don't know.
But when we look into his eyes, they don't look any different than human eyes.
Not at all.
Well, I guess I say, well, we're sorry to ask all these questions. It's just that we are foreigners to this land. We don't know anything about it. And
well, in that case, he pulls the stick back in and pulls the string up from it. There's no hook on the end of the string, by the way. Just pulls the string up and takes it off the end and sort of begins to coil it around his hand. Goes, well, allow me. You're heading towards Arabelle, are you?
Yes, we are indeed.
May I travel with you? I can tell you of the area. I don't have any weapons, so I'm not really going to be a threat.
I look back at the group and I say I think he seems okay. I'm okay with it if you guys are.
Can we just like kind of back up and talk about it for a second?
And so
Yeah,
I
in
say,
fact,
well, just give me a moment then to speak with my party.
Oh, certainly. He actually wanders off about 20 foot and turns, puts his fingers in his ears and starts humming.
All right. Well, I
Face
think
away
he seems...
from him when we talk.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I guess I say, well, I
Should we
can't get
roll
a read
stealth
on
to
him.
like keep our
Yeah.
voices down?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I can't get a read on him. He seems harmless, although it's from what you tell me, he definitely has abilities beyond the normal human. But seeing as we don't have any allies in this land, it might be useful to learn a little bit more about where we are from him. And Arabelle's not so far. I don't feel like we're in danger from him at this point, given all of us and just him. But we have to keep in mind that he's certainly is not telling us everything about himself.
I'm happy to have him along. I'm happy to just like keep an eye on him, but we don't want him watching over us at any point.
Honestly, I'm not so sure I would agree having him join our party. He does seem a bit off, doesn't he?
Well,
I agree.
He seems harmless, but he is off. I say we could keep him, but keep a very close eye on him. Don't let him do anything.
He seems
I
harmless,
agree.
but what benefit do we have to bring him along?
He
Well, he
may
does seem
know
to know
this
the area.
land more than we do. As long as we don't let him out of our sight and we always have somebody posted guard, I don't see what bringing him along would
Well,
do harm.
how far is it to Arabelle from here? We know we have the map, right? Is it a day's journey or a multiple?
No, it's probably about 3 days' journey.
I say, look, I think there's, given how many of this there are, and just one of him and I guess his cat, which we haven't seen, I feel safe as long as we keep our guard up. And I think given that we just have no idea what is even going on in this land, we can use all the information we can get.
Fair enough.
I'm happy to have him along, but if there are people that genuinely don't want him along, then I'm not. I don't feel strongly enough either way to argue the point for him to come along.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
say,
don't view
well,
him as a threat.
why don't we travel with him for the day, and we can sort of reevaluate the situation tomorrow then,
Fair enough. I
as
think
we
we can do
learn
that.
more about him. Yeah. Okay, I guess I go back to him and say, well, stranger, I think since we're both headed in the same direction, that arrangement will work. But you know, if we, being strangers, we're very cautious in this area, and so I hope you'll understand if the arrangements don't work out, if we may part ways in the next day or so.
I understand. I understand fully.
Okay, then I guess we wait for him to gather his things or whatever and continue on our way and chat with him as we travel.
Okay, he tucks his stick under his arm and says, right, ready when you are. Actually, he claps his hands twice. Let's go.
Okay. I guess I motion to the ranger, I assume, who's leading the way with his elvish eyes.
If it's on the roads, I don't feel I need to. I would rather be at the back so I can keep an eye on him if we're on the road, that is. If you go off the road, I'm happy to lead the front.
Okay. I sort of nod at you and get the gist of what you're doing, and I sort of gesture for him to walk with me in the front, and
Yep.
I walk alongside with him and just try to have a conversation with him about this land and what he knows about it. And I offer details about ourselves.
Okay. He does indeed walk in at the front with you, and he has his stick in his hand, and he appears to be trailing it along the ground behind him. And while you're walking at the front, he almost completely ignores everybody behind him, almost as if they're not in his field of view, they don't exist. It's quite odd. So when he doesn't talk about you and your companions, he just talks about
User joined your channel.
Say again?
He doesn't talk about you and your companions. He just talks about you. So he says, why you? It's not the right sort of place for somebody to be out here traveling by themselves. And he seems to be directing it at you, almost as if like your other friends behind you don't exist because he can't see them. It's quite weird. It appears he's almost childlike in the way he sees things, but it also seems like with that he's only got a 30-second memory span. He doesn't at all by any means, but it's odd.
Well, that's very interesting. Yeah, I explained to him, but I don't divulge all the details.
Yeah.
I sort of say we've been shipwrecked here, and we've traveled further than we estimated on the ship, and we are trying to find some lost companions on that shipwreck to try to understand what exactly has happened to us.
He says, a shipwreck? Was that down in the Wyvern water?
I was like, it was indeed, and what's stranger is our ship was on open seas, and it has somehow landed inside an inland lake. So we are in search for answers, and also at the same time trying to understand more about this foreign land. So anything you can tell us about its history and what you know would be of great help.
Well, I met 2 men on this road 2 nights ago who were also shipwrecked.
I
Really odd.
describe the people we're looking for.
That's
The
them.
magicians.
That's him. The younger guy looked like he was about ready to throw up.
I was like, interesting. Were they on their way to Arabelle? We were
They
able
were.
to.
Yeah, they were, both of them. The older guy looked really pissed off, and the younger guy looked ill.
It's like, did you just see them from a distance, or did you have a chance to actually talk with them?
Yeah, I was going to travel with them, but they didn't want to have anything to do with me. And actually, after I spoke to them, I didn't really want to have anything to do with them. I didn't like the older one.
Oh, that's
But you
interesting.
guys, but you seem fine.
So I know that you seem to see things differently. So just what maybe put you off about these other companions, these other shipwrecked travelers? Did you get?
Yeah, the older one looked like he would. If I turned my head away from him, he would have slit my throat. Didn't like him at all. He was in the eyes. Very, very shifty looking eyes. He had very, very shifty looking eyes.
That's like, well, it may be that they certainly know more about this shipwreck than we do. That it may be that we cannot trust them at all, but we certainly don't know. But that is useful to know.
It was about 3 days back that way. He turns round and gestures and then jumps as if he didn't realise everybody else was behind him. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, sorry." About 3 days back that way.
Okay, I guess I noticed all this, and
yeah.
I sort of.
And the rest of you do as well. I mean, you can all see that. And you can hear him. He's not been quiet. So you can all hear all this going on.
Okay. I guess we continue on, and I sort of try to pry into his history and find out like where he's from in this land and what he does.
I'm from Cormier. I was born here a long time ago, and Cormier is a wonderful place. It's ruled by a king called Azun the Fourth. Lovely man, absolutely loved by the populace. He, I believe, he used to be a paladin. Not sure. Is he a paladin? Lovely man, anyway. Very, very lovely man. And he's worshipped by the populace. They absolutely adore him. And all of his guards, they're called the Purple Dragons. And they wear purple, much like this sort of purple, he says, gesturing at his clothing. And it's quite funny, actually, isn't it, Purple Dragons? Because he's known as a Purple Dragon as well. Because purple dragons don't exist anymore. And so he's been on the throne for a while, and he lives down south, I think. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah, yes, he's right down on the coast.
Okay, so I say so he's a good king. His
Yes.
subjects are loyal to him, and are you associated with the king in any way?
Am I associated with him? I'm one of the subjects, I suppose.
Oh, I see. I just meant, were you ever in his employment or interacted with him?
No. No, I long ago gave up all that sort of stuff.
I think so. At some point, you were, I guess, associated. I would very much like to hear more about those stories, if you don't mind sharing them.
What, my stories?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out who this guy is, I guess. And as long as he's willing to talk, I'll try to keep, sort of trying to get him to divulge more details, because we're all super curious about him.
Not me. I don't find him very interesting. I find him harmless, and I'm just ready to get to the destination. I'm more curious about finding out where the two people that were on the shipwreck went.
Yeah, but you guys are. He's talking loudly, so I guess you've overheard everything about how he thinks they're sketchy and dangerous.
He says, I was born about 420 years ago, just outside of Suzail, which is the capital of Cormier. And I used to be a one of those people that works with wood.
He's like a woodworker. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
And now you're just traveling for the sake of travel, or you're traveling for work or business?
No, I'm just traveling for the sake of traveling because I like walking.
I like
For the
traveling.
banter.
Traveling is awesome.
I've just been to High Moon, so I'm just walking back to Arabelle. So yeah, it's what about 100 miles back that way.
Did you say he was at Hyman?
High Moon. Yeah, Hyman wouldn't be a good name.
Okay.
Hyman.
I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
What
I know.
time of day is it now? We've been walking and chatting, and
Oh, it's about midday now.
okay. I guess I should ask people if they want to stop somewhere and have a lunch before we keep traveling.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, and I also want to not be in the front anymore. I'd like someone else to sort of talk to. Maybe someone who's more perceptive. I'm not super perceptive.
Well, I have good insight,
sure.
so I can go around the front or something.
Yeah. So why don't we have lunch and then maybe I'll walk in the back and you can sort of walk with him and chat with him.
Sean. Yeah. Sean, he actually sits down smack bang next to you and sort of leans in and says, hello, I don't think we've had a chance to talk.
You're right, we haven't.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Excellent. Are you enjoying your journey?
I am.
Is there anything that you in particular, he says, pointing at you, want to know about Cormier? Because I can probably tell you. I know quite a lot.
So he thinks about it for a while.
Arabelle? Do you want to know about Arabelle? Anything in particular?
Ask him where the lady's at.
I'm more. I guess I'm kind of curious about the whether the city is a cosmopolitan city or not. I asked him, what kind of peoples are in Arabelle?
Well, there's a lot of demi-humans. You'd be interested to know, and there's quite a few temples to various different gods. There's a very, very strong merchant contingency there, and they generally buy and sell a lot of jewellery and make a lot of jewellery in Arabelle. Make a lot of jewellery. It's about 1,000 buildings or so, something like that.
Wait, do we know what demi-humans are?
Yeah, like elves, dwarves, those kinds of things. That's what it means.
Oh, okay.
So I like what I have to hear. I nod.
But the good thing about Arabelle, and I swear to all the gods, this is the best thing about Arabelle, the Thieves Guild was run out of town about 50 years ago. There is no Thieves Guild. And I like that. I don't like thieves. I really don't like thieves.
What do you like?
I like my cat, which I haven't seen. I haven't seen my cat.
Perhaps when it's
Presumably he
back,
likes
I
wood.
can pet it.
He puts his fingers into his mouth and whistles. And you see a cat come bounding some distance away towards where you're currently sat. And it's a grey tabby, but when it gets close, you realise that thing on its back is actually a set of folded wings.
I say, what kind of cat has wings?
This cat.
That's
They're
like,
called, they're called Trissim. They're flying cats. They're native to this area.
Are there a lot around here?
No, there's probably less than 100 left in existence now.
wait, what? We know his name, right? Can we just have his name so I can write it down?
He hasn't given you a name.
I guess I asked him. By the way, friend, We've spoken so much, and yet we don't know each other's names. And I introduce myself.
He goes, "Oh, hail, well met, pleased to meet you. I'm." He looks a bit confused. He says that. He goes, "I'm probably nobody actually." He does look very confused. It doesn't look like he's putting it on. He looks actually confused when you ask him his name.
Like, do you have a name, or is it something you can't remember?
Of course, I do have a name. It's his brow furrows, and the cat jumps into his lap, and he goes, "Whoa, you little blighter! Have you been catching field mice again?" And he starts tickling the cat under the chin. Cat starts purring, and it's almost as if he's now moved on to the next subject, and every past subject is now close to him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I sort of look around at the rest of my party, and so like, this guy is really weird. That kind of look.
But where was I? Arabelle, yes. Well, there's a temple to Timora, which is good. And
The goddess of luck.
yeah, we've got Helm, Tempest, I believe.
The god of battle.
Oh yeah. I think there's Chauntier as well. Sure, there's more. Oh yes, there's Denier, the god of writing. He's there. Well, he's not there. His temple is there.
I kind of like cut him off listing things, and I say to him, "You say there's no thieves guilds. What are the main threats of the city and of Cormier in general?"
Well, the city there isn't really. It's quite a calm place, which is nice, which is why I like going there. There's a big garrison of Purple Dragon knights, and that's the. Did I mention it? The King Azun. All of his knights, his guard are called Purple Dragon. They wear purple tabards. So them. We'll probably see some on the road. They patrol up and down the road. When we get closer to Arabelle, we'll see patrols of 8 of them mounted. Them. Anyway. So the actual city itself is a really good place. I suppose if there's going to be any problems at all, it's going to be friction between the various different merchant houses. That's the only thing I can think of. But apart from that, it's pretty chilled sort of place. Cormier itself, well, much like anywhere else, I mean, there's the Zentarim. If you go quite a long way to the west of here, I believe that up in the mountains somewhere, the Zents have got a castle that they operate out of, but it's a long way away from here.
Are there any known bandit groups, like notorious bandit groups around?
Yeah, there's many years back, many years back, there was a man called Gondigal, and he tried to take over Arabelle, and in fact he did take over Arabelle for about 8 days before he got ousted again. And he fled north, so people believe, and set up some kind of bandit mercenary outfit somewhere north, still in Cormier, don't know where, don't think anybody does. It's almost like one of those urban legends sort of thing. Occasionally, though, coaches and wagon trains and that go missing, or that sort of thing. It's all put down to him. There's also a lot of other demi-humans, and there are orcs and things like that. I mean, but you're going to find them anywhere. It doesn't matter where you go.
I like asking to repeat himself and say there are orcs around.
Oh yeah, but we're talking about in the Stormhorns, really. So quite a long way north of here. If you get to Arabelle and then sling north from there, you get up to Slingdyke, and Slingdyke is one of the first stops on the Dragon Trail before you get to the Eastern Stormhorns. Or alternatively, you could carry west out of Arabelle towards Evening Star. Evening Star's brilliant. Evening Star is this really picturesque little village that has more elite purple dragons stationed there than anywhere else on the face of the world. And it's the place that King Azun goes to holiday from Suzail. But if you carry on through there and you head towards the High Horn, which is like a long way to the west, you're going to find more orcs around that way as well. And then you've got the King's Forest. Arabelle is right on the eastern side of the King's Forest. And the King's Forest is probably, don't know, what, 500 miles across by about 200 miles deep. And there's loads and loads of towns and cities and villages and roads that wend all their way through the King's Forest. And there's God knows what types of creatures and that to be found in there, definitely.
I
don't go there.
I don't like. Once he says orc, everything else to me just like. All I focus on is orc, and I visibly get like very like angry and upset.
Right.
I say, do you know if you? I've seen your cat, which I've never seen a cat like this. At least I don't think I have. There's none like this in Faerun, right?
No, not at all. We've never seen a cat like this.
I said, tell me, other creatures that may seem common to you, or probably not common to us. Are there dragons in Cormyr?
Yeah. There's well, I say yeah, like it's a casual thing. It's believed that in the Dragonmere, which is right on the southern coast of Cormyr, that there's a dragon down there, a black one, and there's a green dragon believed to be in the King's Forest, and there's a gold dragon somewhere, but gold dragons are nice though. No one knows where he is, and I think he likes it that way.
And I'd say, and these dragons, would they be large enough to have picked up a ship and moved it across the sky?
I don't know. The gold one possibly. I think the gold one's ancient things. He's huge. I don't know about the others. Well, see, all the stories of all the dragons are that they're massive, and the black one to the south and the green one in the forest, the stories say that they're massive dragons. But how big was the boat? Oh, was it sort of like a sea boat?
Yeah, I sort of explained to him about the boat, and I guess who on our party was a shipwright or a sea hand?
I worked on the boat temporarily.
Yeah, so I sort of gestured to Sean. I was like, he could tell you more about exactly the boat, and there's some that have mentioned to us that it could have been a dragon that carried the boat from Faerun to here, but it seems almost impossible.
He says, Torben, I don't think that's the case. I really don't. It would only have been the gold dragon, and he's a good guy, and he wouldn't have done that. And I'm fairly sure the others wouldn't have done it either, because I don't think they're big enough. If it's a sea-going boat, the boats are going to be big, aren't they? Because they have to go on the sea. Unless it was a small boat, then I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
But it could
I
have.
say, any ideas on what kind of magic could move something so large?
Powerful magic. Very powerful magic. I can't think of anything else. Powerful magic. Powerful mage, a god, possibly a big dragon. Was it dismantled and moved by cart? That's the other thing I can think of. It probably wasn't, otherwise you would know about it.
Well, we came to the boat was in smithereens. It was just wreckage strewn about, and we were floating in the water and had to get together and make a raft to get to shore. So
not that then. Okay. Well, there are dragons around here. Yes, I believe. Haven't seen one. Well, I have seen one actually, but it wasn't recent. Have you ever seen a dragon?
No, never.
It's probably a good thing. There's not many of the good ones. The good ones are the the metallic ones, sort of like golds and silvers and platinums and so on. They're the good ones. If it's just like a colour, like red or blue or whatever, they're bad. I mean, like evil creatures. But the metallic ones are all good. And there's one of them, big gold one. You wouldn't have done it.
I guess I nod and then I sort of suggest that we continue traveling.
Let's carry on. Is there anything else you want to ask him before you get to nighttime?
Well, I would like to have a chance to speak with him if,
Sure.
like, since we're going to be, traveling more. Can I talk with him? Okay.
Yep.
So, my character would just ask him. So, I've never been to Cizaille. Is it a nice place?
Yeah, Cizaille's lovely. It's huge. It's so big.
Really? That sounds really quite good.
Yes, like 150,000 people, something like that.
Wow, that is quite vast. The amount of people you have. How do you fit them all in one city? I mean, I guess the city is really huge.
It's a coastal city. It's a big city. And they've got like 4,500 soldiers garrisoned there as well. And the Imperial Navy. And the Council of the War Wizards.
I imagine that those are all quite sights to see.
They really are.
Are there any other wonders that Cizaille holds?
Well, the castle where King Azun lives is just incredible. And the college is one of the oldest buildings in Cormier.
Really, college? What does the college teach?
Magic.
Magic.
There are more
Hello.
wizards. There are more wizards in Cizaille than anywhere else. It's incredible. In fact, one of the stories, now that you mention it, one of the stories is that one of the heads of the council is actually this gold dragon, but just polymorphed into looking like a human. But King Azun IV, he's called the Purple Dragon. All of his soldiers wear purple. He's got an advisor called Vangerderhast, and just incredible. I mean, he's like a wizard you wouldn't believe. Just can do anything. Just immense. He was offered the position of the head of the Council of Mages and turned it down to stay as Azun's personal man. It's believed that this Vangerderhast, is the dragon. That's what it's rumoured. You mark my words. He wags his finger. Not at you, just wags his finger.
Well, all that sounds fascinating. About how far is Cizaille from Erevel?
Well, it's quite a way. You've got to head all the way down Kalantar's Way to Immersea. Then you head down to Hilp, across the Kalantar's Bridge down southern Kalantar's Way, and you get down to Cizaille. So you're looking at a long way.
I see. Well, it does seem like a place we should stop by.
Oh,
It would be a shame to miss all those wonders.
It's like 500 miles, I think, south of Arabelle.
So, I'll then start talking to some of the people that are like nearby. People that are with the actual group. The actual people here, and say, "This man has just told me something absolutely fascinating. I have no idea if it's true, but apparently there's a gold dragon that resides in Cizaille. Rumored, of course, but maybe it would be helpful to go there at some point. Perhaps converse with this gold dragon, see if perhaps they know a little bit about what could have possibly taken our ship and placed it here in Cormier."
Yeah, Torvin, I guess, would sort of nod at you. I mean, I guess we can overhear the conversation. I said that.
Yeah.
I think our first course should still be to track down these other individuals, but if that starts to lead to a dead end, I think that does seem like our best second option.
Yes, well, but these other individuals, they're quite unsavory, aren't they? Trafficking humans and whatnot.
Well, they're going to the wrong place, really, because Arabelle, Suzail, the whole of Cormier, it's not really the sort of place that bad people tend to stay for long. Suzail was called the brightest jewel in Cormier's crown, like hundreds of years ago, and it's one of the cleanest, wealthiest, and safest cities in the entirety of Ferrun, across the entire realm. And that's true.
That is fascinating. They've managed to make their city the safest in all of Faerun.
Well, there's got to be one city that's the safest in all of Ferrun, really, hasn't there? I mean, in the law of hierarchies, there has to be one city that's safer than the others. It just has to be, and this is it.
Yes, I suppose you're right. There simply has to be a number one.
Precisely.
In any event, perhaps paying a visit to Suzail would be a thing to do if everything in Arabelle doesn't really pan out, so to speak.
Quick question: is that where was the college again?
Suzail.
Right. I presume I'm obviously in this conversation as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. Chime in. I have a great. I really want to go visit that college. I've heard. Great things about it. I'd love to see it.
It's fantastic. I've been there. It's fantastic. It really is. You've got to be a mage to get in, though. You've got to be a mage to get in. They won't let you in if you're not a mage, and you have to prove that you're a mage as well. You can't just go, "Hello, I'm a mage."
So
I presume by mage, that's just a
have
magic caster.
magical inclinations.
I love magic.
And I assume that if they let you in, then you have the ability to manipulate it in some way.
I'm not a mage, though. I'm not a wizard.
Then how did you gain entry?
I just kind of asked them if I could come in, if that's all right, please. And the guy on the door went, "All right."
But you just said that unless you were a mage, proven to be so,
Yep,
that
proven.
you were not able to gain entry to the college.
True. You absolutely cannot. They will not let anyone in. I've watched them turn people away as well.
But yet you, who, as you said, do not have any magical ability, have been inside.
It's fantastic, and they've got some of the best artwork you're ever going to see. It's incredible.
So I began, in my head, I am starting to be suspicious that this man might actually be a gold dragon. He's either a gold dragon or he's just insane.
No, I think I don't think dragons have this memory loss issue. I think he's. I mean, this is a weird land, and I think he has magic, but he also has something with his memory. But we noticed that he has some memory issues.
He could be a copper dragon. I mean, he certainly likes to talk.
Do copper dragons have problems with memory?
Not really memory, they just love to talk.
My first inclination was that there was something up with the cat, like the cat seemed to snap him out of things, and that maybe the cat was evil. It's like I don't know. I have a very uneasy feeling about this guy.
I mean, I feel that he's completely safe still. I think he's totally an oddball, but I just think he seems kind of still harmless. I mean, he definitely has power, but I don't think he's. He seems to be scared of evil people. Like, he's scared of those people that were on the ship that we also don't trust. So I feel like he's sort of more good aligned, if you will.
The day wends on, and you find that actually every half a day or so down the road, you find a campsite that has been purposefully made So you pass one about lunchtime, and then you pass one as you get to about dusk. And it's brilliant because there's a wooden shelter there, and there's been banked earth that's built up to take the wind away and so on. There's actual campsites that have been built into the sides of the road. It's a good place to stop.
It's like the D&D rest areas.
Classic D&D rest area.
Well, I'll turn to the ranger. Sorry, Farron, and I say, "Well, you're the ranger. Do you think it's safe to stop here for the night?"
I do, but I think we should have two watches at a time.
Oh, I'm fine to stay awake.
The guy in purple says, I'll help if you wish. I don't mind."
No, it's okay. You rest.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yep, positive.
Okay.
So, me and Griffin can do the first watch, or we can split us two up. Who else is prepared to do a watch?
I mean, I just think we're having the elves do it, one after the other. But I'm happy to do a few hours. I mean, I need to get a full night's rest. I mean, I guess I don't now, right? So I guess I can do a watch.
Well, I mean, if two humans or two people other than elves can keep watch for the first 4 hours, we can sleep and then two elves can come up.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, I guess the humans should probably do it first because we don't have night vision. So before it gets too dark, like, midnight or something, probably be better.
Before, I go to rest, I just want to say to the people that are going to be watching, one of you keep an eye on him and one of you keep an eye on the road.
Okay. I nod. I say okay. I'll take the first watch with some other person, and I'll keep an eye on I'm just gonna call him the stranger, the wanderer. I'm gonna call him the wanderer.
Okay. Okay, right. Well, the first thing you notice that when the wanderer, I'll call him as well, goes to sleep, he sleeps quite near the fire, but when he sits down, he turns round a couple of times first before kind of curling up into a ball, into a fetal position and go to sleep.
Oh my God, like a cat. He's a cat. I have a bunch of cats, although I don't know if my character did.
Well, you've all seen cats go to sleep, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it does look like that's what he's doing. It's quite weird to see a human do it.
Yeah, I make a mental note of the behavior so I can tell the rest of the party in the morning.
The actual cat, the Tressim, wanders into the camp, wanders about, sniffs a few things, and then just wanders out.
Okay, yeah, I guess we just passed the night. I watched the wanderer. Someone else watches the road, and then after a few hours, we wake the. After 4 hours, I guess we wake the elves so they can do their double watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, the night is uneventful. You all passes completely uneventfully. You wake in the morning. He sleeps the entire night, the wanderer.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask the wanderer if he's a cat.
He wakes up and he stretches all of his limbs. He goes, "What? Am I a cat?" No.
I was like, do you have a deeper connection with cats than other humans, don't you?
Well, I've got a deeper connection with my cat. Been my cat for a while.
I was like, ever since you can remember? Has there ever been a time where you didn't have this cat?
Oh yeah, I rescued him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I rescued him when I was about 14.
Okay. I just sort of shrug my shoulders and look back at my group and just keep walking on the road.
I do like cats, and I do like people that like cats. Do you like cats?
Yeah, I nod to them. I love cats.
Excellent. Then I like you.
All right.
I'll give you some money, but I don't have any.
I was like, that's okay. You know what? You could be great. I would love one of those cats. So, if you ever find another cat that needs, an owner that needs to be rescued.
There's only about 100 of these left, and they all come from around Evening Star sort of area, which is quite a way to the west.
Only 100.
Yeah. They were
Oh,
hunted
that's
and
a
extinction.
terrible shame.
They were hunted and killed.
That's just dreadful.
I know.
I was like, hunted and killed for what? They seem very peaceful.
Well, they're just cats. They are just cats, but they can fly. But because they're unusual. So people thought that witches owned them and warlocks had them, and they were harbingers of evil, so they were hunted and killed. And so I rescued this one as he was about to be killed, poor little thing. He was really injured as well. Somebody had stomped on his back legs.
I was like, oh my god, but surely this attitude has changed and they're not in such grave danger anymore.
No, but there's just not very many of them.
Okay. So I was like, so it's not necessarily safe for you to be seen with this cat then in the town. Is that what you're saying?
He doesn't come into the town. He stays outside. I'll pick him up again when I leave.
Okay. I sort of nod and say, I'm sorry that things are that way here, but you have my sympathies. Yeah, I think we just keep traveling towards where we're going.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, unless anybody wants to ask him anything else or has anything else to do, we will pretty much fast forward until we get virtually to Arabelle. Anybody have anything to say?
No, I
No
just want to say
objections.
that just sort of in the evenings when we're at the campfire, I'll like read one of the prophecies from the prophecy book, so we're all sort of getting familiar with what's in that book as each night goes on.
The next one you read is about a fire happening. The stone from the sky, as it was called on this particular occasion, heralded the great fire in a town to the north, a small sort of town to the north, that razed the entire town and killed about 30 people. And that particular one was seen as being a bit of a dark time for the whole prophecy. And that's not as well documented purely because there aren't many people who were alive from that town who could have documented it. So that story is a lot more hearsay and anecdotal than the previous one was. But again, it's another story that heralded some major kind of shift or change or occurrence in Cormier.
Okay, and it seems like, well, I know the first one was something that was kind of good, a great leader arriving, right? And this is something kind of bad. So they're not either good or bad. It seems like they're just prophecies about great events.
Exactly. And the next night you read one, and it's about the death of a red dragon, the shooting star, as it was known, was heralded the location of a red dragon's lair. And when a group of adventurers went out to find it, they found this dragon, they left, and they came back with a larger contingent, and they killed it and took all of the loot back to the town. And the story is mainly to do with the journey that the heroes had both up to finding and after killing the dragon, and it seems to have been written, this particular prophecy, this story, from the aspect of one of the individuals who was on that journey. And there's a lot of detail there about the dragon and the horde and what was found and where the shooting star fell to ground and how close it was to the entrance of the dragon's lair and so on. And it starts off very dark and black and bleak, and after the death of the dragon it gets a lot more upbeat and lighter as they're returning victorious to Sazale.
And this was also a long time ago, and there's not enough details about where this dragon horde might have been.
No, what it does, I mean, it looks like that all of these prophecies have been transcribed from either other books or by other oral traditions or whatever into one book. And some of this particular story is written in such a way as it's just automatically assumes the reader is familiar with the area upon which they are talking about. So it's obviously written for a local area to read.
Okay. So, when we have a chance as we're traveling, I guess I would sort of tell the wanderers, like, could you just give me a minute? I want to speak with my party.
Sure.
And so,
You want us off ahead?
yeah, I don't want him to hear what we're saying. So, I sort of asked him, I was like, do you think we should show this guy the weird book, the necromancer book, and possibly that sphere?
No.
No, I
No,
advise
I don't.
against it. He seems rather, I don't know, just seems rather strange. I wouldn't trust him with it.
Okay.
Absolutely, he's an interesting individual, but I wouldn't give him that necromancer's book if my life depended on it. Because I imagine that it would.
I wonder if there's some way to sort of just poke at whether he knows something. Like, if we could, you think we could sort of try to say that we saw this symbol, and we've never seen a symbol like this before. Have you seen anything like this? That, you think we could sort of recreate that wizard's mark, or is it like a signature and we couldn't do it? I mean, I guess it's like a DM question.
Right. You could recreate the mark, but it would be a facsimile of the mark. So the whole point about a wizard's mark is you couldn't recreate it to be a wizard's mark, but you could recreate it to be a symbol that another wizard would realise is not the same thing, i.e. it's not been created by the wizard upon which that mark belongs. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Well, then I proposed this to the group. I was like, okay, let's not show him that, but he might be able to tell us where we might be able to find out more about the book if we can find a discreet way of asking him for information. Maybe drawing the mark and saying, we saw this in the woods. Have you seen anything like this? Or do you know someone who have knowledge of these types of runes? So what do you guys think?
I don't think we should disclose anything to him.
Yeah, let's get to know him a little bit more before we disclose any personal findings that we have. Make sure he really is who we think he is. Although he doesn't seem to remember it, maybe along this journey he'll find out.
Well, I think as far as he needs to be concerned, we were shipwrecked, we're making our way to Arabelle, and that's about it.
Okay. All right.
I don't
sort
think
of
he should
nod.
know much more than that.
I was like, okay, if you guys don't think it's a good idea, then let's not mention anything, and we'll continue on. Okay, that's all. I guess we break
Okay.
our conference and keep walking to Arabelle.
You notice that he was walking along with his fingers in his ears, humming again, in that very childlike way.
This guy is awesome.
Right.
Well, he might actually have like severe repression. Something like terrible might have happened to him.
I don't know. There's something with this cat, I think, and the way he acted cat-like. Like, he's bonded with this cat in some, like, beyond human way, I think. I mean, he also, it's like almost like he has some of the attributes of the cat. Like, sort of short attention span, but also the vision of the cat. Like, that's what my crazy idea is, you know? That they're sort of like somehow bonded in a weird way. That maybe these cats are magical or something, and has gained some benefit from being close to the cat.
Yeah, to be honest, I agree with the cat thing.
Okay. In the distance, you see some mounted people riding towards you.
I immediately draw my crossbow, a longbow.
What are they wearing? Are they wearing purple?
They are wearing armour with purple tabards over it, and you notice that one of them has a big pennant with a flag on it that has a purple dragon on it.
I motioned to the ranger to lower his bow. He's like, we don't want, these are the king's guards, as the wanderer described. I don't think we want to, you know, have weapons drawn when we approach.
That was what I was going to do. I agree.
Okay, I'll put my longbow away.
Okay. They get closer.
Okay, we hail them, I guess.
I don't know that I would hail them. Like, do you want to speak to them?
I just put my hand up and wave. It doesn't mean I want to speak to them, but just
Oh,
sort
I
of
see what you're
acknowledge that
saying,
they're
okay.
there, you know.
Kind of like a friendly hello kind of thing.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Well, they stop. In fact, as you get close to them, they stop, and you notice that their horses have barding on, but they are all incredibly clean. Their armor is in impeccable condition. There's no dents on it. Their horses are well fed, clean, and well looked after, as it says there. They are impeccably dressed, and they have good quality items on. They look well looked after. None of them look unhappy. They all look happy at what they're doing, and it looks like how an army should be, i.e. they have very, very good support, unlike a lot of armies that don't. And there's 8 of them. And as it says on this description, 6 are wearing plate and 2 are wearing chain. The 2 with chain are equipped with bows. The bows are out, but there are no arrows nocked. The rest have long swords and shields over their back that bear that same insignia. And the 3rd row man on the left-hand side has this pennant on a pole with the purple dragon insignia, and they stop and they look at you. And the leader, one of the men in plate, who has rank insignia on him that says sergeant, holds his hand up and says, "Ho there!"
I say,
Hello.
greetings.
"And where have you travelled from this day?"
What was the name of the town that we were in?
Well, you don't want to tell them the
Bossbear?
name of the town.
I think we can tell them Boss Bear, right? As long, you know, we don't want to tell them we were shipwrecked yet, but
No, we don't want to tell them like the actual town's name. That we
Yes,
were
because
from.
they
Yes.
told us not to tell anybody about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
so I'm actually like wanting to make sure I don't give them that name.
Yeah. That town was called Beckingford.
Okay.
That's the one that they said don't tell.
We'll say Sunset
Alright.
Hill, because that
Yeah.
was near where we got the road, right? Near the bridge or something.
Looks like it's fairly near that bridge, yeah. We'll say, yeah, Sunset Hill. Oh, from Sunset Hill, actually. On our way to Arabelle.
Ah, and how is Sunset Hill?
Say,
It's doing quite well.
Good. You are half a day's journey away from Arabelle. The roads will get good from here on. Just over that rise, they turn into cobblestone. You will be met at the gate by guards, and there will be a small charge to enter the town. Nothing major, nothing more than a silver each. And you will be asked to peace tie all of your weapons. If you can't peace tie a weapon, you will be asked to surrender it until you leave town. So I would suggest if you can beforehand, you find some way of peace tying your weaponry. We're a peaceful town. We don't expect trouble.
I nod and say, of course, we have no intentions of any trouble. We're just traveling. Thank you.
Best that we make this sort of thing clear. Cormier is a safe place for travellers, and we want to make sure it stays that way. That's why we're out on the roads.
Oh, well, that's very good to know. Thank you.
What have you had behind you? Any trouble? Anything? Anything we should know about?
No, not really.
It's like I think you've done your jobs admirably. We have had nothing but a peaceful and nice journey.
Good, good. He smiles. Then, may you have a safe journey, and I wish you good speed.
Okay.
Same to you, sir.
He makes some kind of gesture, and the phalanx of 8 carry on down the road. A couple of them kind of nod and smile at you as they ride past.
Quick question. What's a peace tie, I think you said?
A peace tie is basically a string that you tie over the hilt of your weapon so that you can't immediately draw your weapon. It's so that you have to undo the string before you can draw the weapon. It's designed to make it so that literally you can't just whip your sword out of your scabbard and shiv somebody with it.
So a medieval safety.
Yeah,
Right.
a safety catch for a sword.
I mean, I didn't know what that was either, but I mean, our characters know what that is, though, right?
Oh yeah, it's a common
Yeah.
thing. A lot of big cities have something similar to that.
Quick question. I'm carrying a quarterstaff. What do I do with that? Would I have to give that over? Or is that not classified as a weapon? It probably is, but...
It depends. If it looks like a weapon, or if it looks like a walking staff, then if it's a
Mine
walking
was
staff,
the... I purchased the ornate one that looked like it kind of had the nice design down the side.
No, you didn't. You purchased a plain one.
You sure? Alright,
I'm
okay,
abs-
yeah,
I'm
it's the
absolutely
plain one then.
positive.
You got to pull the Gandalf. You know, you wouldn't part a man of his walking stick.
Well, to be quite honest, it's just a plain stick. They're not going to be too bothered about it, especially seeing as you
Right.
don't look like a combatant. You know, you're not a soldier or a warrior, so they'll probably go, meh. If somebody like Falstag had it, they would go, no, we're having that. Because he's quite big.
Then there's little old Elfie over here just like, please don't take my stick.
I mean, if you look like a wizard, then they're probably definitely going to leave it with you because they don't want to fuck with wizards. And also, what's a wizard going to do with a stick? Kind of wave it threateningly in my direction?
Yeah, I mean, he'll do
Definitely,
more with
God.
his fingers and, like, magic
Exactly.
than the freaking spell.
Yeah.
What, am I going to get like a knot tied around my wrists?
Yeah, you're going to get both your hands tied together, unfortunately. That behind your back, that's it from now on.
I was thinking more being gagged.
And that. Hog-tied. Just in case.
Yeah, so you have to be able to cast spells silently and still.
Can I have
I'm sure there's
perception,
spells.
perception rolls, please, from everybody? If you're specialised in it, let me know.
I do.
I am specialised in it.
Nice.
And I have a specialization in it too.
I'm also specialized in it.
Wow.
I'm
Some good rolls
specialised
there.
in it.
Oh yeah.
Some good rolls there, chaps. Nice. Okay, well, the DC was 15, so anybody got 15 or higher, which is quite a few of you, in fact, you notice that all the way through that conversation that you had with the Purple Dragons, the Wanderer was kind of looking at the ground and shuffling his feet and trying to be small and out of the way.
Right then.
He wasn't hiding because there's no way he could hide. They would have seen him, but he was trying to just be small and out of the way and
Yeah.
not noticeable.
So I'll tell him. Well, actually, I didn't notice. Never mind. I'll keep my mouth shut.
I'll walk up to him and ask him what was your deal with the guards?
Well,
You-
I think they get annoyed by me.
In what do you mean annoyed? In what way? What do you do to annoy them?
Well, because when I talk and they're asking me a question, and it all stems from a long time ago when I had this. I was sat on a park bench and I was with this old guy down in Suzale, and he was trying to get this straight sort of answer out of me. And I remember it was night time because there were birds sort of on the ground and they disappeared off by that point and it was all quiet. And he was trying to sort of just ask me this question. But all the while he was trying to do that, I was thinking about this woman that I met. And this woman that I met was just along the coast in Marsemba, and she was a lovely young lass. And but the purple dragons, whenever they talk to me, they want me to speak to them and sort of say yes or no, and I tell them stories and they get annoyed with me. But this woman, I mean, she was brilliant. She was a wizard, and she'd been with this adventuring group, and they'd found this cave system. And in that cave system, there was this, it was ancient sort of dwarven cave system. And it was all the way down to the west. It was like 1,000 miles away. Well, she was, I wasn't. I was just down south. And it was this whole kind of church, this dwarven church that had fallen into disrepair. And they found this portal that brought them up to this sort of area. And I forgot the reason I was saying that.
Yeah, I cut him off and just try and get his attention back to the purple dragons. I thought you were very fond of the purple dragons.
I love them. They're brilliant.
But you feel they don't love you.
They think I'm annoying. I don't mean to be annoying. I'm sorry. Do you want me to go?
No, it's fine. Just let's keep going to Arabelle.
Okay, you're about half a day away, as I said, and after about an hour or so, as you crest the top of a rise, you see this massive walled city down in front of you.
I want to keep my eye on the Wanderer, just to see his reaction. Like, what's his reaction when we get a glance at the city?
Not bothered, really. Doesn't seem to be bothered in the slightest.
I remind all our party members with weapons like swords and stuff to peace tie them before we.
Yeah.
approach.
I'll peace tie my rapier.
Yeah, I do the same with my rapier.
Yeah,
Okay.
I should
And-
peace tie my bow just by tying the string, so it can't be.
Well, just
full.
unstring it. Unstring it, basically. That would do it. That's pretty much the only way that you can peace tie a bow is by unstringing it.
So what would involve in like peace tying like a sickle?
That you can't really peace tie because it doesn't have a scabbard or a sheath for it to go in.
But a sickle is just like a farming tool. Would they even take that?
Well, you're going into a town. Well, no. Do you know what? They probably wouldn't because it is just a farming tool, isn't it? Only in
Non-martial
their eyes, I should
weapons,
imagine.
probably.
Does it exist in the? Well, I'll tell you what. Is it in the list of martial weapons in the player's handbook?
I don't believe
It's
so.
a weapon, not a martial weapon.
Is it in the? If it's in
So
the
it's a
weapon
simple
list,
weapon?
If it's in the weapon list, they'll take it. Put it that way. Full stop.
Can you just tie it onto
Oh,
your?
wow.
Where are you carrying it on your back?
Probably on
Yeah.
his side.
Why don't we just tie it onto your back so you can't just easily, pull it out of place?
I mean, it's small enough. I could I mean, I don't know. It'd probably end up biting me, but hiding it in underneath my shirt or something, like it's small enough for that.
I encourage him not to do that, but I say it's obviously your call, but I don't think we want to cause any trouble.
Well, you could wrap it. You could wrap it in material of some kind, and then you could declare it, but say, "Look, I've wrapped it and tied it." That would probably be sufficient because it would still take you time to unwrap it.
Okay, I'll do that.
And you're now starting to see farmland, arable land, and animals, cattle, horses, that sort of thing, sheep that are being farmed and pastures. And there is arable land as well. You can see there's corn growing and other such crops off in the patchwork quilt of fields that stretch off in both directions. You are approaching from the east, so the right hand gate, and there are guards and people outside as you approach. It's huge, this place. It's absolutely enormous. And as you can see, it is walled, and the wall is made of the same stone that the bridge was made of, so that very light coloured grey stone. And again, it is in exceptionally good condition, and you can see that there are people on the outside of the wall who are washing it.
Cleaning it, really?
Yeah.
Now,
Yep.
what's the tax rate in this place? They clean everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
well,
mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm happy to just walk in, up to the guards.
Okay.
Yeah,
You see- Carry on, sorry.
I would say after we sort of get ourselves checked, I think I do want to talk to one of the guards.
Okay. As you approach, the Wanderer says, I'm going to stay out, if that's all right.
No nonsense. Come, you're with us.
Okay. He looks a little bit concerned, but carries on walking. You get up to the gate. Right, who is it wants to speak to the guards?
It's Torben.
Okay. There is a queue, but other people go in and you're now in front of the guards.
Okay, have we already been checked and allowed to proceed in, or are we still there?
Well, you're still there at the moment. It's going to cost you 1 silver piece each. And the Wanderer says, he turns to you actually, Sabine, because you were nice enough to say come in, and says, I have no money, I can't pay the toll, I'm afraid. I have no money, I have nothing.
I'll pay for it.
Oh, thank you. And so yes, 1 silver, and they check you over to make sure your weapons are piece tied or stashed away that aren't immediately accessible. And yes, you can speak to them. The guy you're speaking to is a half elf dressed in the outfit of the Purple Dragons.
I say greetings. I don't know if you can help me, but unfortunately, on our travels, we became separated from 2 of our party members. But we know that we were headed this way. I just want to make sure that they've arrived safely. And I sort of describe the 2 shipwrecks and say, I don't know if you might have happened to remember.
I don't, I'm afraid. We get so many people come in. Would they have come in this gate, or would they have come in the south or the north gate? Do you know?
So no, I think they were headed in this direction, but maybe they went around. So if you think no, this would have been a few days earlier.
We probably get through each gate on a daily basis, maybe 100 people, possibly more. If it was 2 or 3 days ago, I don't remember them. But then, to be quite honest, I'm probably not going to remember you half an hour in half an hour's time.
I say fair enough.
Sorry.
I mean, it might have been their first time here. Do you know where? And it is indeed our first time here. Do you know where's a good place for us to go for our first night in inn, or anything you could recommend?
Yeah, I mean, what sort of place are you looking for? Are you looking for somewhere to hire on for work? Are you looking for a cheap watering hole? Are you looking for? Wow, I mean, what sort of place are you looking for?
Well, I'd say we're not wealthy, but we're not poor either, so something sort of moderate, an inn perhaps, and maybe if you could tell us where some of the local stores are. I mean, I just sort of get some information about the town from him, basically, and a recommendation of where we could go.
Yeah. He says, okay, I recommend the Whistling Wheel or the Traveller's Banner. Actually, the Traveller's Banner is probably going to be a good one for you to go to.
Okay, I nod and I thank him, and I rejoin my party, and I mentioned that might be a good inn for us. And I was like, it's a huge city, and the people we're looking for were probably no one noticed them, so I don't know what our next step should be.
He gives you directions to it.
What
When,
time of day is it?
It's late afternoon. You've probably got 2, maybe 3 hours of sunlight left before it gets dark. The Wanderer, as he gets up to the gate, one of the guards looks at him and says, "You, for the love of all that is holy, what are you doing back again? Didn't we kick you out before?" He goes, "I'm sorry, I'm with these lovely people and they're very nice." And the guard turns to you, Sabin, because he's next to you, and says, I do not know what to say. This man is just a nightmare. He is just a nightmare. Are you sure you want him with you? We can throw him out again. He's just... boils my blood.
It's been really quite pleasant.
He's
No,
irritating. Hasn't he irritated you half to death yet?
not particularly, no.
Give it time. Give it time. The Wanderer's like, "I'm sorry. I don't do it on purpose. I'm sorry. I'm not." And
I'll try and console the Wanderer and say, no, it's fine.
he looks.
I'm sorry, good sir. But
He's like,
what did you have a problem with this individual for?
He's a bit like a kicked puppy at the moment, the Wanderer. And the guard says, because you ask him a question and he takes about an hour and a half to answer you, and you can, doesn't matter how much you try and steer him round to giving you a straight answer, he never does.
I'd like to step in and just sorry, did you say you kicked him out of the town?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Is it a crime in Arabelle to be annoying?
No, it's not a crime in Arabelle to be annoying. That wasn't why we kicked him out of town.
Why was he kicked out of town?
Because he was witness to an attack. We know he didn't have anything to do with it, but he was a witness to attack, and we tried to get the details from him, and he kept getting more and more awkward and obstreperous. And in the end, my sergeant, exasperated, kicked him out of town. Not permanently, just get out of town, leave us alone for a while, and come back again in a few days. I know you probably shouldn't have done it, and in fact, actually, he got a bollocking from his superior officer for doing it as well, but still. "This guy never gives you a straight answer," he says as he points at the Wanderer.
So I'll ask the Wanderer. I'm sorry, is this true? Were you witness to an attack?
I was, yeah.
I'll turn back to the guard and say, well, there you go. It was a fairly straight answer, wouldn't you say?
The guard is like, why? Oh, for God's sake. Why didn't you say that the other day? Why are you leading us around the house? He goes, well, you never asked me the right questions. He says, oh, fine. Well, if you were witness to that attack, he turns to the rest of you and says, it was 2 merchants, the bodyguards for 2 merchants kicked off against each other in an inn, basically. They were both drunk, and that's what it was about. If you were witness to an attack, go to the Citadel, speak to the sergeant. You know the guy, you spoke to him 2 days ago, and tell him. Give him the details. Give him what you saw, and that will be the end of it. That's all you need to do. He says, well, you might throw me in jail. Because he's not going to throw you in jail if you were a witness. We don't throw witnesses in jail. He goes, well, what if he slaps me? He goes, why is he going to slap you? You can see the other guard on the other side of the gate is kind of grinning like an idiot at the moment, and the half elf that you're speaking to is getting flustered as he's talking to the Wanderer. It's kind of weird because you've been speaking to the Wanderer now for a couple of days, and you haven't got anywhere near as flustered as this guard appears to be getting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost as if something is affecting the guard.
Hmm.
But the Wanderer is kind of whining a little bit. So he's whining as he's speaking.
Could we roll a perception check and kind of see
Or maybe knowledge arcana to see if we know of anything
if there's
that
like
would
a
cause them
spell
to...
or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do. If you have arcana, you can roll it.
One second, let me roll it.
Yep.
Sorry, my internet's just been really slow, so it's taking forever to load pages.
That's
And
cool.
I have proficiency in it, by the way.
Nice. Okay, well,
Oh my
Boom.
god, 25?
Wow.
well, you needed a 15, so if you got a 15, then you got it. So I think that's all of you, isn't it?
Yeah, seems that way.
Basically, it's doesn't right. Delgar, you are absolutely 100% sure that he hasn't cast a spell on the guard. You are 100% adamant about this. However, everybody, there is some kind of confusion, and it's not a mundane confusion. It's almost like a creature's spell-like effect seems to be happening to this guard, but it doesn't. But you are absolutely 100% sure, Griffin, that it is not coming from the Wanderer. He hasn't done anything on purpose.
The cat. Yeah, I was gonna say, where's this cat?
Well, I was going to say, why don't we get Anatsum to maybe roll like a knowledge nature to see if maybe he knows what effect or what creature could cause such an effect.
That's a good idea. And Atsum do that very thing. Get in.
Nice.
It could be some kind of pheromone, possibly. The thing is, it's going to be some kind of unnatural creature. A natural creature would not be able to do this, obviously. So it's going to be something that is unnatural. And
By unnatural, do you mean like from another plane of existence?
Potentially, but not necessarily. So unnatural is not a mundane creature.
I mean, so the Tracen is an unnatural. Is it unnatural? The flying cat?
For
I mean,
sure.
it seems to be natural to the area, is what the Wanderer was saying.
But there was
what
only
was
like
it, the Evernight or
100.
whatever.
So I mean, it's very rare. So it could just be like a freak of nature that.
Well, it's very rare now, but what he was saying was that they were hunted to near extinction. And so it sounds like there were quite a few of them, and they had a natural habitat of some kind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, does that constitute them as an unnatural creature, or?
I mean,
Well, like a
going
griffin.
into-
A griffin is like a magical creature, so I mean, I would consider that unnatural, even though it's probably
Well, we
fairly
might,
common.
but I mean, we're talking about like the characters in the world. If it's a fairly common creature, would we consider that to be unnatural, or would we still consider it to be natural because it's naturally occurring and has a
Well,
habitat? And
I think you would say general consensus across 99% of the world is cats don't fly. So a cat that does fly is unnatural, I would say.
okay. So then, yeah, potentially it is the cat.
The cat is nearby, but it's not looking at anybody in particular. It's actually on its haunches, and you can see its little bum waggling as it appears to be getting ready to spring on a mouse it's found. Just paying no attention to you guys at all, but you can see him about 30 foot away.
Well, I don't have speak with animals yet, so I can't really talk to it.
Well, I guess as the guard's getting confused, I sort of say, well, there's no reason to push the issue. We'll do what we can to encourage this man to speak what he knows to the authorities about the
Yeah,
the
see if we
attack.
can't help.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, please. We don't like having any sort of violence or anything happening in the city. So if he does know what happened, he definitely needs to go and see the sergeant so that we can get this sorted out. We do not like having unsolved crimes like this about. It gives the whole
I'll be
city
right
a
back.
bad name.
Hold up. I actually do have speak with animals.
Okay,
Can we take like a couple minute break real quick?
that's a good idea. Should we do that? Couple of minute break, everybody.
All right,
Sure.
and when we
Go
come
use the
back,
bathroom.
I will speak with the cat.
Okay, sounds good.
I should go and grab a coffee. Back in a moment.
I'm back. Hello. Is anyone there?
User left your channel. User joined your channel.
Hello?
Hello?
Could you guys hear me a second ago?
We just decided to take a couple minute break,
Oh, right,
so I
okay.
think
That would
people
explain for everyone why.
are AFK. Yeah.
Right, because I was like, hello? Hello? And nobody responded. I'm like, oh, shit. Alright.
Yeah, people should be back in a couple of minutes.
Yep.
I'm back.
No, you're not. You think you're back.
Liar, I
In
am.
reality. But are you really? Please don't stab me. Right, what do we make of this guy?
No, I still think he's harmless. I think he's effed up, but he's harmless.
I think we should be more scared of the fucking cat.
I still think he's a gold dragon, and that the cat is like a familiar and is fucking with his mind.
I don't think he's a gold dragon. I think Bang Gutas is the gold dragon.
Well, never mind.
The king's advisor? Because that's the rumor, right? That the king's advisor is a gold dragon. In human form.
Yeah.
I have returned.
No one gives a shit.
I'm not convinced at all that he does even have memory issues. This could all just be part of an act.
Right. I think it's either an act or I think that the cat is evil. There's something wrong with it. But yeah, the gold dragon plus him having an act makes sense to me.
I just can't see the motivation for a gold dragon acting this way, but
Curiosity.
is that the personality of a gold dragon?
Well, they're all unique, so yeah.
But also, he's just been hanging out in this town, so we know he has a history of being a weirdo in the town.
Well, the issue I have is that I know a lot about Cormyr, and so I'm trying not to let like my out of character knowledge mess with stuff. So I actually know who Vanguard Hast is. I know a lot about him already, which sucks for me. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna spoil anything. But
Well,
so
that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that at all. And we had a talk about this, didn't we, beforehand about
Yeah.
because
Back.
although I do use canon, I do put my own twist on things.
okay,
So although you might know an awful lot of things out of character, I trust your judgment enough to ignore it in character.
right.
Is everybody back? Are we missing anyone?
I was just trying to explain
make a
why
roll
my
call.
views don't necessarily make sense because I'm trying to like think about what my actual character thinks.
Why doesn't everyone just type 1 in Roll20 chat if they're back?
Yeah.
Or we could just do, I don't know, a
I could
Natsum.
just say it.
Natsum, you there? There we go, Natsum's not here. Mutica,
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Raiden,
Yeah.
Sabin,
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so we're just waiting on a Natsum.
Okay.
So how are we all on this lovely day? Well, it's night now in the UK, but I presume there's still daylight in the States.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're about.
Plenty of it.
Mm-hmm. Doing quite well.
2:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, on the West Coast, sorry.
Oh, are you in
All right,
California
I'm
now?
best.
No, I'm not yet. Not yet. Soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
Everybody
hot,
back?
It's hot today in Atlanta, but
Yep.
it's nice.
Who was that? Was that a Natsum?
Yes, can I
Good.
speak to the animal?
Everybody else is back. Right. Okay. You cast a spell and you call the cat over. It immediately sits up, its ears prick up, and it turns around and it looks at you and it trots over. It was in the process of eating a mouse, so it drops it and wanders over to you. What do you ask?
Excuse me. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you have anything to do with the fact that everywhere we've been, it seems like everyone in town is under some sort of hypnotism or spell? Are you having anything to do with it?
No.
I think it's gonna tell you it does.
Do you can you sense any other creatures in here besides yourself?
In here? In where? In town?
Or have you come across any other creatures since we've been in town? Any of magical properties?
Oh, there's quite a few magical creatures in town. That's why I don't come in.
Do you are they of good natured or bad natured? Is that why you won't come in?
No, there's no, as far as I'm aware, there are no evil creatures in town, but there's a dragon in town. It's a good dragon, but it's still a dragon. He'd eat me as soon as look at me. Dragons have to eat as well.
Do they have a taste for magical creatures such as yourself?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I'm fairly sure he would eat a cat or a dog, and that's what I am. I'm a cat. Well, I'm a cat.
Can you tell us any more about your companion, the Wanderer? He seems a bit odd. How long have y'all been together?
About 350 years.
350 years?
Yeah.
How is it possible he's still alive? Okay, I thought he was human, right?
Yeah,
I was-
yeah, he is human. Yeah. I don't know.
You. Oh well, of course. He can't speak to you, can he?
Yeah, we talk to each other. It's not quite the conversation I'm having with you, but yeah.
Has he always had problems with memory since you've met him?
Yeah, he's always been a bit flaky. Always been a bit flaky. He's not a bad man at all. He's had a lot of rough things happen to him, but he's a good man.
And what about his eyesight? There, it seems.
It's good, isn't it?
Yes.
It's better than mine, the bastard.
His eyesight's better than yours. How is that possible?
Does the cat say bastard? That's awesome.
Yeah, he does. But the thing is, right, you've done Speak with Animals before, I'm assuming, at some point in the past. Now, the spell says the knowledge and awareness of many beasts is limited by their intelligence. So, but at minimum, beasts can give you information about nearby location and monsters, including what they can perceive or have perceived within the past day. This cat is talking to you.
Yeah,
So
he's
clearly way more intelligent than a normal cat. Way more.
Yeah, he's more intelligent than some people we come across.
Yeah, and yes, he does use the word bastard as well.
I go up and I nudge him and I'm like, hey, ask if he's the gold dragon.
I turn to him and say, no, he's not the gold dragon. In fact, he's scared of the gold dragon. He thinks if he comes in contact with him that it'll eat him.
I nudge him again and I'm like, ask him anyways.
So I turn to the cat and be like, my
The cat,
companion.
as you turn to the cat says, I can understand him, it's alright.
Wait, so it speaks common as well?
You can understand common. It seems like it told Anathema you could understand the question you asked him.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't know if it meant that I could hear as well.
So I turn to the cat and he says he understood the question. So I tell him, so?
Am I a dragon?
A golden dragon.
I'm not a golden dragon, no. I wish I was.
Have you
User
ever
disconnected
come in
from your
contact with
channel.
a dragon before?
Yeah, that golden dragon in town.
So you've met him before?
Wow, I've kind of seen him. He looked at me hungrily.
So I turn to the party and kind of tell him let him in on the conversation that we've been having, and asked if anybody has any other questions for him. And it doesn't seem that he is the root cause of this spell that everybody we've come across has been under.
Well, the thing is it doesn't seem like people know there's a gold dragon living in the town, except this cat. So, can you tell us how we can identify or find the gold dragon? Like, I guess it's disguised as a person or something, right?
So I turn to the cat, and since he can understand you, it's like, okay, so how would we identify this dragon if we come across him?
It'll be about 60 foot long and bright gold.
So he's not disguised as a human or anything.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
How would we know if he's the dragon if he's disguised?
See, I don't know the answer to that either. I don't know who he's disguised as. It's just this guy.
I thought the answer was going to be something like he smells a bit funny.
I think he's like a wizard.
If we were to come in close proximity, would you be able to identify him?
Probably.
Well,
you can probably tell by the fact I'll be running away as quickly as I can.
okay, well, I will look for the signs of you retreating if we come in contact with this dragon.
Going back to the original, question. Ask him if he knows what could possibly be causing the guards' confusion.
Do you have any inclination to what could be causing this state of confusion with the guards and people in town?
There's something not quite right about him, isn't there? I don't know what it is, but it's him. He's not doing it on purpose.
Your companion, he's the source?
Yeah.
Why weren't we affected?
I don't know. I don't think he's not doing it on purpose. I think if he likes you, you'll probably be okay. If he doesn't like you, or he's afraid of you, or he feels threatened, or something like that, then you might not. It's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. I tell this to everybody but the Wanderer. I don't want him to get defensive, finding out that we know a lot more about him than talking with his cat companion than we did earlier. So I tell him, the biggest thing is they've been together for 300 years. So he is not human. He can't be human.
I sort of nodded. Well, if the cat doesn't know what he is, I mean, I'm really curious to talk to this gold dragon, but is the cat going to come into the city with us? Because if he's not, then how do we identify him? We talk to every wizard?
The cat said he was most likely a wizard. He doesn't seem to want to come into the city for fear of the dragon. Let me talk to him, see if we can't assure him that we will protect him, since he will definitely aid in
definitely can't
identifying
protect him against a
a
dragon.
gold dragon. Yeah.
I don't want to make that promise.
Well, you can, in the fact that if you were to stand between the gold dragon and the cat, then the gold dragon wouldn't attack you just to get to the cat. I mean, it's a good creature.
Yeah, but I don't think we would do that.
And they actually dislike killing things. Well, I mean, I don't know if we would know that much, but they really don't like killing people.
Well, they
for no
they
good
have
reason.
to eat like the cat told Natsom, right? So maybe.
Well, magic too.
Right,
feeds
but that's
them.
what I mean. Like, for no good reason, they're not going to kill something. They only kill whenever they have to. So, like, if they're hungry and they need to eat something, well then yeah, they'll eat something and they'll kill that. But they don't ever kill more than they need, and they're just good-natured creatures. They don't even kill evil things. They typically like to turn them into the authorities. That's
I do not
how opposed
think,
they are to the whole
I
thing.
do not think we can offer the cat any insurance
Well,
against that. It's a gold dragon, I think.
If the gold dragon is good natured, I mean, it's not going to eat one of us. The cat's pretty tiny. Maybe the cat can jump into a satchel or something that we're carrying, or be held in our arms, since the dragon is not going to eat us.
Well, I suggest you try to explain that gold dragons are generally peaceful, and that we would try to intervene, but I would say that we can't promise anything, of course, but we would certainly try to protect the cat if it would help us.
So I turned to the cat, kind of fill him in on everything, saying we would really appreciate it if you would come into town with us, so you could alert us to the gold dragon. And from what we've heard and the stories we've read, gold dragons are good-natured, and that the gold dragon wouldn't eat us, and we could carry you around, so the dragon wouldn't eat us to get to you.
I don't want to come into town. I'm sorry. It's not just the dragon. It's people don't seem to like me because I've got wings, and I'd rather just not go into town. And there's no way I'd allow you to keep me cooped up somewhere.
Okay.
I'm a cat of freedom.
That's understandable.
Perhaps a persuasion roll? I don't know if you have persuasion.
I don't have persuasion.
Oh, well. Then, yeah.
I like the idea of the cat of freedom.
Yeah, I know. I thought that when I said it.
It's like an American, like the bald eagle of freedom. It's the cat of freedom.
So I tell everyone the cat is not going to be joining us into town, but keep an eye out since we do know the Gold Dragon's here and he's most likely disguised as a wizard. Maybe at the school he resides there.
Well, the school, well, there might be a school here, but the main one is in Suzelle. But I would imagine the Gold Dragon is the most powerful wizard in the city. He might not be that hard to track down.
Is it possible for Anatsum to make like a knowledge nature roll to know more about the nature of gold dragons, or is that something that would just be too obscure for him to have knowledge of?
Yeah, that would be too obscure at the moment, but it was, I think, knowledge that might come in the future.
Okay, because I was wondering if he would be allowed to like bring in, you know, his outside knowledge of what gold dragons do typically, like their habits and things. But no.
I'll tell you what, let's make a nature roll, and I might be able to give you some information. Nice.
Wow.
Right. Well, what you do know is that there's a few things. There's a hierarchy of dragons, and gold are generally considered to be the most powerful of all of the metallic dragons. They're always good, and they can always, and they're massive. I mean, their wingspans are about 130, 140, 150 foot across, and they stand about 20, 25 feet tall. They like fire, but not in the way a red dragon does. And I think their eggs must be hatched in fire as well. And unlike most dragons, they have a societal social structure amongst metallic dragons as well. And so if there's a clutch of dragons, it would generally have a gold dragon at the top as the leader of some kind. What else?
They hate being called Goldie.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably all I'm going to let you have at the moment.
On back to what's affecting the guards and stuff like that. Do they seem more cheerful, like willing to cooperate under this influence?
No, no, they seem more exasperated by whatever it is that's influencing. Although saying that, now that the guard has moved to talk to somebody else, he appears to have dropped back down into being quite a nice, smiley, laughing guard. It was just when he was having to deal with a wanderer that it got him frustrated. So
Okay.
now his attention has gone from the wanderer. He's fine.
So we can't really use that to our benefit.
In what way?
Like trying to get into certain areas protected by guards, we couldn't have that influence.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't know really.
Well, he can't control it. I mean, according to what Anatsum told us from the cat, like it seems like he can't control that ability, so it's not like he can cause confusion at will. I mean, I think our best course of action is to rest at the inn for the night, and then I don't know how to look for these other people. We can ask some innkeepers, but another lead we have is to try to talk to the powerful wizards in the town. And I think we could definitely do that tomorrow.
I agree. So, shall we head into town?
Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
go to that inn you recommended, the guard recommended.
Did I know what happened to Griffin?
Oh, what?
He's disconnected.
No.
Alright.
I guess maybe his internet went out. I mean, he was saying that it was being kind of wonky, like, you know, it was
Is he in
loading pages really slowly.
Is he in the Roll20 chat?
No. Okay. Oakley dokley. Right, you head into town and you head towards, well, you follow the instructions you were given towards the inn. The inn's the Traveller's Banner. And immediately what you notice, the road that's directly inside the gates is a big wide boulevard that takes you down to a fork in the road, and you were told to go right at that fork, which takes you past the citadel, and you see on the map there the two grey buildings on the complex on the very, very far left. You go to those, and you do see the palace, which is the blob in front of you, and then the citadel, which is the lozenge-shaped thing at the back. And both of them are very, very ornate. One thing that you do notice is the town itself is very, very clean. Very clean. There are no, there's no trash in by the sides of the road. There is no effluent anywhere. It's clean, it's sparkling. There are decent drains, and it looks like they're fed very well. And the buildings are looked after and maintained and painted when necessary, or the wood is maintained, the stone is maintained as well. Everything that you've passed so far, and you've passed hundreds of different buildings and businesses, is in really, really good condition.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Of these buildings that we've passed, are any of them would you consider to be like large, ornate, or grandiose?
Yeah, there's quite a few that are. The
So
that one,
all right.
that has a sign on it saying House of Thond, Thond.
Okay. Yeah. I will take particular note of that.
That one as well. Basically, the big buildings up this area, all of these are big and ornate, and again, very well looked after.
Okay. Can I get the names of them, or is that not? I mean, I guess the ones that I'll actually be able to go and interact with, because that'll be something that my character can end up doing.
Looks like a private residence, so you can't interact with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
That one is called the Weary Knight, and it's an inn. And that one is called the it's at the Temple of Timora.
All right.
And
Thank
that
you.
one,
Oh.
right.
What do you want to do?
Well, right now my character's probably famished, so he's gonna go with you guys to the inn, get a room, eat, and then he'll probably start going to these places and like just looking around.
Well, you've been directed. Actually, you've been given different directions than you should have done, but you've been directed down this sort of area, and the map ping now. That one is an inn known as the Dragon's Rest.
Yeah.
Your inn is this one here.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy with whatever inn. I was gonna head to the one recommended, but unless there's another, if you want to stay somewhere else.
No, I'm not saying I want to stay at these places. I'm just wanting to go and look around. My character has a unique fondness for like architecture and just all manner of things that are I don't know. I guess you would say awe-inspiring.
Well, you'd probably be drawn to the palace, I guess, if you're into architecture, right?
Well, that's why I asked, like, of the buildings that we passed, which ones look to be, eye-catching. And if we didn't pass the palace or whatever, then, I wouldn't be inclined to go there because I haven't seen it yet.
You did pass it.
Oh, okay.
You
Was that
passed
one of the things that you had mentioned?
I mentioned it at the very, very beginning when I mentioned about the two grey buildings.
No, I meant of the ones that I was asking about.
Right, no, that the other ones, well, that obviously is very ornate, but you've got the private house, the temple, and two inns out of the four big buildings that are just above the citadel on the map
Okay.
in that area.
And then just the Citadel. Does the Citadel have a special name?
It's just called the Citadel.
Alrighty.
Actually, it doesn't have a name at all. It's referred to as the Citadel. There's no signs on it. It does, however, have the purple dragon banner all over it.
Alright.
Well, it's late, so I would think we should get accommodations. But yeah, I mean, Sabin, I guess if you are so curious about the castle, no one would stop you in the party. I think if you just said, "Oh, I want to sort of look around at the castle," and you could meet us at the inn.
Well, like I said, because it is kind of late, we've been traveling all day. My character's probably, hungry, and it would be best for me to just go to the inn and eat because food.
Yeah. Well, right. Well, I think maybe tomorrow after we've all rested is a good day for us to all explore the town, and that's not something we have to do together either. If you had a keen interest in architecture.
Right. I was actually gonna, eat and then instead of going directly to bed, well, depending on the time, I'd start wandering to these places, looking around.
It's not even dark yet. It's getting there, but it's not dark yet. So you've probably got maybe 3 or 4 hours before you would go to bed normally anyway, unless you wanted a really early night.
Okay, yeah, then I'd probably, since it is late, I'd probably head to the Temple of Timora first. But yeah, let's do the inn stuff first, I guess.
Okay, you go into the Traveller's Rest. This inn is very functional. Nothing amazing about it, but it's what you would call a fair inn. It's reasonably well. It's clean inside. It's all very, very clean, as is everything else as I've described. But there are signs of wear on the tables and chairs and the bar and the floor and so on. So it's obviously not been refreshed in a while, but has definitely been kept clean. The clientele are slightly more rough and ready, but again, they're not like dock workers or cut purses or anything else like that. They look more like your manual labourers, so possibly smiths, carpenters, that sort of thing. Although there's not a lot of people in here, it does seem that this place caters more to travellers than it does to locals, although those who live in the houses around will probably go here just out of force of habit. There's a man behind the bar, late 40s, bearded. He's got shortish hair, a bit ruddy complexion, quite big, very thick forearms and thick wrists. And as you walk through the door, your ears are assailed by this big peal of laughter coming from a group of people over at the bar who are talking to the barman. You see the barman slapping the bar with his left hand as he's laughing. And you heard him, A couple of people maybe turn to look at you, but nobody really bats an eyelid. Nobody else pays you much heed at all.
Yeah, I guess I approached the barman and sort of inquire if he could has accommodations for our party.
He moves away from the group. He excuses himself and goes, "Evening, gentlemen. Yeah, of course I've got beds for you. Were you looking for single rooms, double rooms, or do you want to go into the flop house? It's up to you."
I sort of look back and I say, well, you might be more comfortable in at least double rooms. But it's up to you what you guys want.
There's 6 of you in total, including Wanderer.
I'll say, well, what are the various prices for these accommodations?
Well, basically, it's a silver piece if you want a room on your own, or it's a silver piece for 2 of you if you want to share a room, or if you go in the flop house, you can go in the flop house for free. I just ask that you maybe have something to eat and drink here before you do. You won't want to go in the flop house if you've been travelling a long time. The flop house is basically a room with a rope strung across the middle. You just drape yourself over it and go to sleep.
Wow, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pay. I'll pay for a room.
Single room for you, Squire?
I don't mind sharing. If anyone wants to share, otherwise, yeah.
I asked if
Yeah, I'll share.
I guess
are
we're
the
probably
double
all
rooms
okay with sharing.
near each other, so we can still be close. If you can give us enough double rooms for our party close by.
3 rooms right next to each other. Yeah, I can do
Yeah.
that. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you the 3 rooms at the very end of the corridor. So you've got 1 facing room and 2 rooms opposite each other.
It's like excellent. That's perfect.
No worries. So that'll be 6 silver pieces in total then, please, gents, for the rooms. I'm assuming you want to eat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think.
Wait, I thought it was 1 silver for the double room.
It's a silver per room. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Double
yeah,
room. That's 3 silver.
Sorry, it's a silver per room, so it's 3 silver. Sorry.
And
yeah,
how much
okay.
for
That's my fault. That's the ref's fault, not his fault.
How much for dinner and breakfast for the party as well?
Right. Well, if you're looking to feed all of you, I can either do a private room with a banquet, and that's going to cost you a gold piece in total, but you get a private room. You can get all the wine and beer you drink for the rest of the evening thrown in, plus you'll get a haunch of venison, half a side of pig, a couple of chickens, and possibly a pheasant and some vegetables.
I say sold, and I hand him the gold. I'll pay for it.
I give you a pat on the back.
Well, in that case then, I will get my lovely young daughter to show you up to your room. Do you need carrying anything, or are you all good?
I think we can manage.
All right. And let me know when you want to have dinner served. It's pretty much ready to go. Probably need about 10 minutes at the minimum, if that's all right. Just to finalise a few things, just to crackle up the pork crackling on the roast and so on. But you come down, maybe have a drink in the bar or drink in your private room, and we bring the food out to you.
Sounds great.
Brilliant.
Yes, let's do that.
This young lass, human lass, about 19, comes out and says, please, this way, I'll show you to your rooms. She takes you upstairs. You turn right at the top, and you go all the way down to the end of the corridor. And in fact, yes, at the very, very end of the corridor, you've got a door directly opposite you, and then directly opposite, on left and the right walls, there are 2 more doors, and she unlocks them and gives you a key to each one and says, here you go, please. When you head downstairs, once you get to the bottom of the stairs, if you go into the bar and go round to the right hand side, you'll see a room that says function room. Go through there.
Right. So you said she was young. Is she what you would consider to be a pretty girl?
Yeah, she is. She's quite cute.
All right. So unfortunately, my character is a sucker for the ladies. So, yeah.
Oh man, you forgot about that architecture. You got your mind on something else now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just kind of the way the character is. Like, he really likes all kinds of art and architecture, things like that. But women are kind
Female
of
architecture.
his downfall. So I don't know. Are you comfortable with role playing that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, totally.
All right. So Flint will walk up to this lady and say, "Hello, I'm Flint Blackwood. I was just noticing that you and your father seem to own this establishment. Is that the case?"
She goes, "Yes, my lord," and curtsies at you, and she gives this big beatific smile. Just we cater for travellers primarily. We do a very good trade. Arabelle is a very busy town, and we're grateful for everything that we can get.
Really?
Will you be staying in town long, sir?
Well, I'm really not quite sure. We only just arrived, but I'm absolutely interested in seeing some of the various sites that are around. I noticed that you have a particularly grandiose-looking citadel.
Oh yes, sir. There are so many beautiful things in this town, she says as she blushes.
Yes, I'm quite sure that there are. Big smile. I don't really know if there's like a skill for seduction. I guess it would fall under deception or persuasion.
Yeah,
Persuasion, I think.
Alright, fair enough. So yeah, just so I don't take up too much time, I'll continue talking with her and in the seductive sort of way.
And she says, "Oh, well, I will be finishing late tonight, sir, but perhaps tomorrow I might want to show you around some of the more beautiful areas of the town."
Yes, that'd be fantastic.
She goes, "Excellent. I will be around here all day, so if you are free, come and find me, and I shall be happy to show you around."
Oh, I'm quite sure I'll look for you.
I shall show you an excellent place to stop for lunch.
That sounds great.
She curtsies and heads back downstairs.
Alright.
Right, the rooms are really nice. You have feather mattresses, which is a luxury you haven't had in a very long time. And since the boat, in fact, actually, thinking about it. And the rooms are clean. You have a wardrobe, a lockable wardrobe at the bottom of each of the beds, facing into the room. And there is a night table between the two beds and a window just above the night table. Upon the table there is an amphora of water and a washing bowl and a candle holder with 4 candles nearby in each of the rooms. And you have fresh, clean bedding as well.
you said we had a few hours before like nightfall, and
Yeah.
well, I guess I would maybe mention to the innkeeper. I was like, actually, I think some of our party might have just an errand or two to run in town. Could you have that dinner ready for us in an hour or so after we've
Yes,
arrived?
by all means, so I'll have it ready for you now.
Okay. Well, I suggest then to the group, I was like, after we've settled in, there's probably some time for us to do a few things in town before dinner, if we want to do that.
Yeah, but we don't have any money.
Yeah, we do. That I paid for that with our money.
No, I mean I understand that we have some money, but it's not like enough to really procure any kind of goods.
Well,
I mean, I
I
don't know
wanted,
how much do you have? Like, let me put it that way.
I have 24 gold now.
Wow, where the heck did you get that?
That's our money as a group from those. Remember the bandits and stuff, and that we found that coin purse of Suzelle gold, and I just kept it.
Oh, I see. So you're the one that so we didn't really distribute it. We just gave it to one person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
Yeah, I was looking at my own like gold, and I'm like, I have 9 gold pieces. That's it.
I
Like,
have a considerable
Really?
amount more than that.
I have 56 silver, so yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'll pay for it. Don't worry.
Well,
I,
that's really a good amount considering what things cost. Like 24 gold is actually quite a bit.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is kind of like for procuring like services, yes. For certain goods, not so much.
Yeah. Well, what did you want to do? Like the only thing I thought of maybe doing is trying to find a bookstore. I was thinking of getting a book on magical creatures
Oh, I see.
or like runes. I didn't really have any other errands. I don't know. Didn't you need a lockpick set or something?
Yeah, but I don't have the money for it. They're like
Well, I think you can
25
use.
gold, I think.
Oh, they're 25 gold, which would be all our money. So I guess we can't get that.
Huh.
all
Do
I
How
we
much
know
have
did
how?
you say you
is
had, Farron?
I have 108 gold.
Holy shit! Where the hell did you get all that?
My starting money.
Oh yeah, I didn't even
Didn't you
add
use
my
any of it to
starting
like
money.
buy things?
Oh yeah, you have to use it to
No.
buy all your equipment. Well then, how do you have equipment?
I brought the longbow, but that's it.
So you're naked?
Well, and the like basic armor that we got at the shop.
Which would have cost money as well.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, and then if you buy like an adventurer's pack with stuff in it, it's like another 10 gold there.
When I did the character creation with High Rise, he said that counted with my because I got it with my background.
Yeah, I've got it. It's fine. I know. I'm good with it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
wow. So
and
Farron
do
is
you
our
let us?
bank.
Are you Did you share that with the group that you're that wealthy, or not?
Yeah, I'm prepared to.
Okay. Well, I guess I just mentioned to the group that, after seeing that cat, I feel like I know nothing about the creatures of this land, and I thought I might try to find out some more. If I could find a store where I could get a book. I don't know if any of you have other errands to run. I think we do have a little bit of gold that we can use amongst us, but I don't know how far that'll get us.
The Wanderer says, I know where you can find books like that for sale.
Okay. Well, I didn't mention then. I think if I have time, then I might go with the Wanderer to buy one of these books and come back to the inn for dinner. And I don't know what else you guys want to do.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't have a whole lot of money on me, but the things that if I had money that I would want to get would be some more brewer's supplies, so I can continue making wine, and then also some thieves' tools, so that way I can pick locks again. Other than that, I mean, obviously, +1 weapons and armor would be nice. Things like that, but those are probably way outside of our price range.
Yeah.
Well,
That's about it.
this is kind of interesting. It's we're like all sort of having this chat, and I said maybe I suggest as much as we need to find these people, we might actually need to find some work in this new land because it's certainly going to be difficult to find these people when we're like broke.
It is true. It does seem that money makes the world go round, as unfortunate as that is.
Well, the Wanderer says, outside the gates there are big compounds, and all of the merchant companies have all of their compounds. I've just said that, haven't I? Yeah, all of their compounds outside of the walls, and they're always hiring.
Out of curiosity, sir, do you happen to know if the Vintners Guild has a guild hall here?
Yes, it's called the Gentle Smile. It's to the
Really?
south. Yes, it's to the south.
Perhaps I can pay them a visit. Perhaps I can find us all work.
Maybe.
That's like what if it's drinking wine all day. I'm pretty good at that.
It was the Gentle Smile, you said?
Yes, it's called the Gentle Smile. It's along the big north-south road, just off there.
Let's say that. Alright, so I'll then say, well, I'm a standing member of the Vintners Guild. I have my dues paid up, so that's quite good. I should still be in good standing, I'd imagine. I don't believe the work will entail drinking wine so much as helping to create it, but lifting baskets of fruits and liquids and things like that.
I think I'd get bored.
Oh, very well. Do you happen to have something else in mind, perhaps?
Well, I think it's not doesn't hurt to inquire, and as we have these few hours, why don't I mean I think we could just sort of RP different things we do in the town in that hour and meet back at the inn. Maybe ask around for work and just compare what leads there are. And not some rain. What do you guys think?
Yeah, while you guys are off doing whatever, I would like my cat to just go around like the higher class inns and just like poke my head in, have a look around just to see if I can see either of the two people.
Okay. One thing you've noticed, even just wandering through from the gate to where you are at the moment, is there is a shit ton of inns in this place. So that would keep you busy for quite a while, but you've spotted the ones you think look more higher class than the other ones, and you can certainly try those first.
Yeah, I'd like to try just a couple just before I have to head back for dinner.
Okay.
I think I will. I don't know.
I mean, you're welcome to come with me in the Wanderer if you don't have any ideas.
Yeah, I'll go with you on the Wanderer.
Okay. Right, well, I'll deal with you two first then, and then we'll go down the list, Rain, Sabin, Sean, from there.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so the Wanderer goes with you, and you're looking for a book, is that right?
Yeah, I sort of explained that, I'd like, like there must be books similar to other lands, like an encyclopedia that sort of describes the magic, the creatures of this land and little details about them.
He says, I know somewhere that will sell books, but books aren't cheap here. Books are not cheap anywhere, but books aren't cheap here at all. I'll show you where they're for sale.
Okay, I said, yeah, maybe if we could stop by there, and then you said it's near where all the other merchants are, right? So we could also inquire about work.
The merchants will probably all be in town getting pissed now. Tomorrow morning's the best time to speak to them.
Well, then let's go to the book thing and then head back.
But then tomorrow morning, the bazaar's going to be open. Bazaars are just over there. He says as he points to an open area as you come out of the inn that's like 30 foot away. He says that's tomorrow morning. That's going to be bustling with market stalls and God knows what else. There'll be a lot of activity over there.
Okay, that's good.
He points to the area marked 10 on the map, which is right up by the northern gate. But you head more directly into town, basically, and he takes you to a shop, and it has books in the window for a start. And he goes in.
Okay, yeah, I follow him in and I look for the owner.
Yeah, there is a pinched-faced man sat behind a desk with a book in front of him and a pair of half-moon spectacles over his receding hairlined face, and he looks at you over the glasses as you come in through the door and says, "Hello, gentlemen. Can I help you at all?"
Yeah, I sort of look at him and I motion to Anatsum and say, well, we're visitors to this land, and we have seen creatures that we have never seen before, and we're incredibly curious about learning more about
I
the
see.
sort of. We thought, would you might have a book? Also, I mentioned that we are travelers. We don't have much coin, so we'd have to see whether it's something that's affordable.
So you're looking for a bestiary then, gentlemen, is that correct?
So yeah, that sounds exactly like what we might need.
Well, I'm fairly sure we might have something that would be suitable for you. He looks over all three of you, and then he spots the Wanderer and goes, "Oh, my lord, I never realised you were here. I'm so sorry. Of course, I'll find a book for you." And he disappears out the back.
What? You just said my lord to the Wanderer?
Yeah, and his whole attitude changed as well. He was looking quite imperious at you, like, "Oh God, what do you want?" And then the moment he saw the Wanderer, he was like, "Oh Christ, sorry, my lord, I'll go and get a book for you." And he legs it out the back. The Wanderer is oblivious. He's looking at a book at the moment. He doesn't pay any attention to this. He's not even noticing what's going on. He's just looking at a book at the moment.
I sort of look at Natsim and shrug my shoulders. And I was like, this guy is so bizarre.
The man.
Well, he is 300 years old. There's a lot about him we don't know. Maybe this guy, he seems to recognize him. Maybe he knows more about him.
But he just addressed him as a lord, which means that he is actually a nobleman.
Maybe we'll get the book for free. No, I wouldn't really say that. That is very interesting. I wonder if he's a lord of this town.
He comes back through with a book quite quickly. It's quite plain looking. Certainly nowhere near as ornate as some of the books that are available in this shop. And he hands it over to you pretty quickly. He says, "Please have a look at this one."
Okay. Yeah, I sort of put it where Anatsim can also look at it, and the first thing I do is I look for a page on the cat, the Tracen.
Yeah,
and
there
sort
is
of
one.
read about it.
Yeah, there is one. Yeah. Hang on a minute. Okay. Yeah, basically, what it says is that they were magical beasts about the size of a domestic cat, and their wings are all feathered that extend to about a meter wingspan. And they have these fluffy balls of fur at the end of their tails. They're highly, highly, highly intelligent, and quite often they're kept as pets or familiars by wizards and sorcerers. And they actually can speak the common tongue, speak it, as well as their own language, which is cat language, effectively.
So this cat just didn't want to speak to us, let us know he could speak.
It would appear to be that. This is what that says in the book, yeah.
I look at Anatsim and I was like, we've already learned something from this book. I sort of thumb through it and see if there's sort of just not read it, but just is there a section on dragons and details about dragons?
Yeah, there is a little bit.
Okay.
But it's quite generic information. Now, the book is aimed more at Cormier than just generally around the world.
Sure. And that's kind of what I was looking for. I sort of say I said, well, what's how much would this cost us? We're working with your friend here. That's the point to look.
He says, absolutely no charge, gentlemen, absolutely no charge. And he comes back from round the back of the desk. He moves over towards the door and he opens it and he says, "Please take the book with my blessing and have a great day." and he holds the door open for you and holds his other arm out.
I sort of thank him profusely and say, well, I'll remember your generosity, and I guess walk back to the inn with Natsim. And Natsim, do you want to do anything in the bookstore?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So that was weird.
Yeah, I think sort of after we get back and everyone else has done their things when we're having dinner, I'll mention it to the party. Like I'll mention it to you guys exactly what happened with this.
We'll do that in a bit. Right, next person on the list is Rain.
I'm just going around the inns, I suppose.
Okay. Well, I said there's loads and loads of inns, but you find the ones that are possibly slightly more upmarket. And let me just find the list. Okay. So the first one you find is called The Weary Knight, and that's reasonably close to you. Looks pretty. Well, actually, the first one you come across from around the corner from where you was called The Dragon's Rest, which is on the map. Big building.
Right, okay.
See that? And that is a big inn and looks like a high class one. And you poke your head in through the door. Can I have a perception roll, please, from you?
Yep.
Ooh, 26. Right, you spot them. Both of them. They're sat at a table. The older guy looks at you at the same time you look at him.
He immediately recognises me, I assume?
Yeah. Definite recognition on his face as you lock eyes with each other. What do you do?
I walk up to them and sit myself next to them.
As you walk up, you see that the older man says something to the younger guy, who turns to look at you.
As I sit down, I say, hello gentlemen, I take it you remember me from the shipwreck?
What can we do for you?
I'm just curious if you had any knowledge of what caused the shipwreck.
Well, we thought it might have been a dragon to start with, but now we think it's powerful magic. Make a perception roll. Another perception roll. Ooh, he's lying.
I play along with his lie. What sort of magic do you think it might be? What sort of magic have you thought?
Some kind of powerful wizard, perhaps.
This is the older guy I'm talking to, right?
Yeah, the young guy hasn't said a word.
I turn to the young guy and I look straight into his eyes and say, what's your thoughts on this? What do you think might happen?
He's not looking at you, so you can look into his eyes, but he's not looking at you. He's looking directly at the older guy, and he's not moving his gaze away from the older guy. He just nods at the older guy. The older guy says he doesn't know either.
What are you two doing in town? What brings you to Arabelle?
Looking for answers.
Two.
You're a nosy one, aren't you? What do you need?
Well, I was in a shipwreck with you, so yes, I am. I want answers myself. Maybe
I
we're
don't
after the
have
same thing.
I don't have the answers you're seeking.
Well, clearly not. That's why you're looking for answers.
Perception check. He's lying. Ah, your rolls are epic. He's lying. You know he's lying. He's got this little smile playing across his face now as well.
Maybe I'd be able to join up with you two to find the answers maybe we're all looking for.
Nah, we're good, thanks.
But I insist.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I
We don't need any help, thanks. But thanks for the offer.
I remain seated next to them and just, okay, the conversation's over, but I remain sat here.
Okay. They finish their drinks and they both stand up and say, well, it's been great meeting you again. All the best. And they head towards the door.
I stand up and follow them as if I'm one of their companions.
I love it. This is so hilarious.
They get to the door and the older man, well, they both stop, but he wanders over to a group of about 5 blokes over about 10-15 foot away, and he gestures back towards you, and they look over his shoulder, and he pulls out a money pouch and gives them all some money. And he wanders back over and says, have a great night, with a smile on his face, and walks out. You notice the 5 guys have detached themselves from where they were leaning. They're just stood there, but they're looking over.
I walk out the door and follow them.
Okay, the 5 guys come out directly after you. One of them turns around and says, excuse me, mate.
Hello?
They walk up to you. The other 2 have stopped as well. Says, can we have a word?
No, I'm good, thanks. I just stand next to the other 2.
Well, we insist. 3 of them pull out knives. Now, let's not let things get ugly. Not in this nice, shiny little street. Why don't you take a seat over there? Don't worry, you're in middle of the street. I'd say broad daylight there. It's the middle of the street. We're not going to shiv you, but have a seat over there. There's a good lad. Or we will shiv you.
Put out my quarterstaff and just gently lean against it, and I just say, no, I'm good, Ryan, thanks.
The older guy says, we're going to leave now, chaps. If he follows us, kill him. And the 2 of them start walking off.
And I follow them.
Roll initiative.
So are you
man.
alone right now? We're like
You're all
no
by
idea.
yourself.
He's alone.
We have no idea where he is.
I'm
Right,
drinking
it's
a
not letting
beer
me roll.
somewhere.
The initiative button isn't working.
You have to select your token if you haven't.
Just roll it. Don't worry about it.
20 plus your dex.
You have to select a token and then roll it, and you can't because there aren't any tokens on the page.
Yeah, just D20 plus your dex mod. Oh, you might be dead, bro.
Okay.
How many are there?
5.
He said 5.
Fuck.
Would you really sit up to 5 people? I guess you already did it now, but...
Well, my thought process is this is the middle of a highbrow street. Surely there's some purple dragon guards around.
Well, you better hope there are.
I am praying there are.
Yeah, a perception check before pissing him off might have been good.
I pretty much aced every single perception check.
Yeah, he did. No, there aren't any purple guards around. It is a a big street, but there's nobody else about at the moment. But you're near. I mean, you're right near the Citadel. You're probably like 2 streets away from the Citadel.
Is
Does
there
he,
any-
does he remember that he is? He remembers that he is, right?
Oh, I mean, you can virtually see it over the top of the big mansion that's just to your southwest. But what's basically happening is the 5 guys are going to surround you, or the other 2 leave.
Because I'm very like speedy. How is it possible that 5 random thugs are able to completely surround me? How would they possibly pull that off?
Well, you're in combat now, so you can do what you want in your initiative roll.
Yeah.
You can try to escape, but I mean, it's 6 seconds of an action, so.
They're speedy because they beat you in initiative. Or rather, they are surrounding you because they beat you in initiative.
Okay, so there's no like possible escape at the moment.
On your initiative, you can attempt to make an escape, sure.
Well, I'll attempt to make an escape then.
Okay.
Well, they're gonna have a go at you, though. So get that staff out, bro.
Yeah, I've got my staff out, like I'm holding it.
What's your AC?
15.
Okay. That's 1 hit. He's using a dagger. For 5 points of damage. Next one, he's using a fist. He misses. Next one, he's using a fist as well. Ooh, misses. Well, I mean, they're not. When I say misses, they hit you, but you don't take any damage.
Yeah.
A dagger for the 3rd one. That's a hit. Seven. And a dagger for the last one. Blimey. For 3. Right, what happens is they do surround you and they just pile in on you. While they do that, the other 2 leave. And well, they head into an alleyway. Now, on your initiative, you can attempt to run away from them if you wish.
Yeah, I attempt to run away.
Do you have a lot of health?
I've got 5 health left.
Okay, make me a...
Did they get attacks of opportunity or not?
No, if he beats a complete retreat, which is what he's going to do, then no. I'll let him not.
I would imagine disengage.
Yeah, a disengage action, basically, which does not provoke an attack of opportunity.
I do that.
Okay. Disengage. Right, what's your move speed? 30.
35.
35, yeah, of course it is. Right, well, you will outpace them because their movement speed is not 35.
I just run for it.
Okay, you leg it away. I'll leave you there for the moment. Sabin. Sabin, you there? Okay, Sean.
Alright, where am I still?
Well, this is all happening simultaneously. So this is some time ago. So you're in the inn. So what are you staying in the inn, or are you going to go out?
Yeah, I mean, like the things that Falstag would typically be doing are like honing my weapon, you know, sharpening it, eating, hanging around, Not a whole lot of interest other than getting back on the road. Very motivated to go smack some skulls in.
Well, you can go down into the private room if you wish and take some of the free drinks that they've offered you whilst you wait for everybody, or you can stay up in your room.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go down and get some of the free drinks. I'm very, very pleased with the feast that my companion purchased, and I'm gonna make good use of it.
Okay. Well, the food isn't there at the moment, but he says the barman comes through and says, "Well, your other compatriot said he's going to want the food in about an hour, but if you're going to wait here, I can bring you out a snack in the interim if you want, or you can just wait and I can bring you some drinks and you can eat with everybody else. It's up to you, really."
I think I'll get a head start.
All right, I'll go and get you I've got some nice roast beef that's literally just come out of the oven. Do you want some of that?
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. It's dripping with juices. It is. It's absolutely done to a turn. I'll get you some fresh bread as well. And I'll bring a big jug of ale through as well.
God, I get so hungry.
He brings all that lot through, and he sets it down, and he plops himself down next to you and says, "We don't get many half orcs down this neck of the woods. You really don't. It's quite chaotic, really."
I look up at him and I'm surprised he's the first person to kind of notice. And
he says, "Do you find it difficult moving around, or do the people generally don't notice?"
sometimes it depends where I am. I've spent most of my life in Neverwinter, where I blend in quite well.
Yeah. Never been to Neverwinter. Never been. Well, in fact, actually, in all honesty, I've only been out of Cormia once, and that was to Sembia.
I much prefer it here.
Yeah.
In fact,
yeah,
I might make it my home.
Yeah, I settled down here about 20 years ago with my wife, and raised a family and bought this place. Best investment I ever made, to be quite honest. Really nice. You see some great people come through here. Yeah, there's occasional trouble, but you're going to get that anywhere. But generally speaking, it's been really good. You get to meet all sorts of people, you know, like your good self, and I find it interesting.
Perhaps when I'm older and done adventuring, I may follow your path.
Yeah, it's quite rewarding, really. I only adventured for a while, and then what happened was I found a woman and she didn't like it, so I stopped doing it. Always away, isn't it? I do miss it, but I don't, because there's less chance of me dying here than there was while I was delving dungeons and fighting this, that, and the other all over the place, as I'm sure you can imagine, sir. But anyway.
Well, I spent my life as a blacksmith recently, or I just only recently began adventuring, and I haven't had such exhilarating times. I once fought a tiger.
Tiger, blimey. Yeah, I've not fought one of them. Don't think I'd like to do that much, I must admit. You know what you ought to do? What sort of smith were you? Sort of weapons, armour, just ironwork?
Mostly armor, but some castle forged steel.
You want to go and meet Daglar Mermit. Daglar Mermit, he's an armourer. He's one of the best in the regions. He's in town. He's got a shop not too far away. Tell him old Boris. Boris with a beard, he calls me. This guy doesn't have a beard. Boris with a beard. Tell him I sent you over. He'll sort you out if you never need anything.
What did you say his name was?
Daglar Mermit. He's a dwarf. Good lad he is.
I may take you up on that.
Yeah, do. Anyway, I'd love to stand here during all the time, but I've got to get back out to my customers.
It was good talking to you.
I'll be back through in a bit if you need anything. There's a bell over there. You just ring that bell. It'll ring in the kitchen, and we'll come through with anything else you need: beer, wines, any kind of food, anything. Just ring that bell, and we'll come back through.
Thank you.
All right, then. He gets up and leaves. Sabin, you back? What happened to him?
Is he still in roll 20?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll have to come back to him. Right. So the three of you who've gone out, we'll leave Sabin out for a moment, and that's Mutica and Rain. All three of you haven't actually been out really for that long. Now, Rain, are you heading straight back? I'm assuming you are.
Yeah, straight back to the inn.
And the other two of you as well, you've got your book. Is there anyone else you want to go first? Well, three of you, including the Wanderer.
What time of day is it right now?
It's night time. It's been night for about half an hour or so. You've got about half an hour left before the feast will be ready, according to the hour that you gave, or whoever gave.
I think I will wander around town, sightsee a little bit, just kind of take the scenic route back to the inn, but ultimately head back there and wait for the feast and meet up with everyone.
Okay. You wander about, and the Wanderer mentions a few things. He says, "Oh no, this belongs to one of the oldest merchant families in town, and this building here was gutted about 60 years ago by an accidental fire, and it was rebuilt." And he gives you a bit of a sort of a town guide, potted history tour of the area that you're currently in as you walking along. All of a sudden he stops and goes, "That's not right, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong," and he legs it down the road back towards the way you came, just pelts down the road.
What building was he looking at when he did that?
He wasn't. He stopped. He kind of rocked backwards and forwards on his feet, put his hand to his forehead and said, "That's not right, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong," getting slightly louder, and then just ran off down the road at full pelt.
Is there, can I do a perception check to see if there is anything unusual about the area we were standing in when that happened?
You don't need to make a check. The road is completely empty. There's nobody else about, but you're in a residential area, and it's still quite a nice residential area.
I'm gonna chase after him.
Okay.
Are there any people outside?
Not at the moment, although there were a couple of people who look like a husband and wife who are slightly drunk, who headed into one of the houses on your right-hand side a couple of minutes ago, but that's the only people you've seen. But he heads down the very, very end of the road, and he turns left past the last building, kind of grabs onto the last building to help him swing around the corner, sort of thing. And he's moving at one hell of a whack as well. And was it Mutica you're running down after him?
Yeah, I'm sort of yelling, say, hey, it's okay.
No, he goes, no, it's not this way.
I just try to catch up with him.
Okay, and that's him?
I start running after them as well.
Right. Okay. Rain, as you come round the corner, you see the Wanderer is running towards you with a look of alarm on his face.
Okay.
And he skids in front of you, skids into a halt in front of you, and behind him you can see Mutica, and then just coming round the corner is Anatsum. And you see it's dark now, and the Wanderer has run up to somebody in the road and has stopped by them. You can't see who it is at this moment because where you are is not lit and it's dark and so on. But as you get closer, you realise it's Rain.
Once we get closer, I yell, "Is everything okay? What's wrong?"
Well, I think we look at Rain and see how bloody he is, and I'd be like, "What the hell, man?"
Oh yeah.
I mean, you've been shivved in your sides basically by the guys who were behind you. That's where you got most of the damage because you were trying to avoid everything. You just didn't see them. Yeah, he's covered in blood.
So I talk to Ray and be like, "What happened?" First I'm gonna cast a healing spell on him since I notice he's injured. But while I'm doing that, I ask him, "What happened to you?"
I found the two guys from the boat, the two people we're looking for. I found them in an inn. What was it called again? The something
Dragon's
dragons.
Rest.
I found them
Dragon's
in the
Rest.
Dragon's Rest. I tried to follow them out the door, and they hired a group of thugs who attacked me and shivved me. I wasn't able to follow the two people, but they went down an alleyway near the Dragon's Rest, and that's where I lost sight of them.
Okay. What's the Wanderer doing? Is he calmed down?
No, well, yes, right. At the same time, how many hits are you down, by the way?
I've got 12 out of 20 health.
Okay. At the same time that Anatsum, you do this, the Wanderer puts his hands on the wounds and seems to do something as well. And between the two of you, you're now back on full hits. So what happens is this kind of light-coloured sheen appeared all over the Wanderer as he just mumbles something unintelligible under his breath, and you get healed from both of them, both the Anatsum and the Wanderer at the same time. Baff. Now the Wanderer calms down.
I sort of look at him and I say, "Is this what was wrong?"
Yes.
And I say to Rain, I said, he. I don't know when you got attacked, but if I'm guessing correctly, I think he somehow picked up on it and started running towards you.
You're all right, he says to you.
How did you know I was hurt?
I could smell it.
Smell it? He said smell it?
Yeah.
Am I there?
Yes, you are. Yeah, you hear all this.
Alright. I am so convinced this guy's a dragon. Like, you are so a gold dragon in my head. I'm not saying it, but I'm thinking it.
Sabine, you back?
Yeah.
Ah, right. You were AFK for a while.
Oh wait, so are we back at the inn? Or near the inn?
We're in the streets just outside it, aren't we?
You're in the streets just
Okay.
outside, yeah.
So
Yeah,
Sean, you
there's
heard us and you came out.
Yeah, because there's a window open, you can hear. Right, I'll just go back to Sabine. So I'll just leave you guys somewhere. Sabine, you were AFK for a while, so I didn't get a chance to speak to you. What is it you want to do, sir?
So after the dinner thing, well, I mean, I'm assuming we were doing these things before the meal at the inn.
Yeah, that's right.
That kind of stuff would be very near nothing. I don't have any money, so I don't really have anything that I can buy as far as that goes. And really everything else would probably be after eating.
Okay, so would you have stayed, because Falstag stayed in the inn as well, went downstairs into the main room and spoke to the barkeep, so would you have stayed there with them?
Yeah, probably that'd be the thing to do.
Okay.
Stick around until, food.
Well, the conversation was, very briefly, is the barkeep and Sean talked about blacksmithing and so on, and the barkeep said, you want to go and meet this guy who's an armourer who has a shop in town, and tell him that I sent you and give some details over. And they talked about that sort of thing. He also made mention about the fact that Falstag was a half-orc, not in kind of denigration at all, just curious, like, oh, we don't see many half-orcs down here, how come you're here, sort of question, just a matter-of-fact, honest question. And they had a bit of a talk about that as well.
Okay.
And what's happened is Falstag has just taken some freshly cooked beef as well. It's been brought some freshly cooked beef, so if you wanted some as well, you could have some freshly cooked beef and some fresh bread and some ale while you're waiting for everybody to turn up in the big feast.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I reluctantly share the beef with him.
Oh, you brought your own plate, basically, so that's fine.
In my head, I consider it sharing. I reluctantly share it with him.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, all right then. Eating my beef, you bastard. Right, the window is open to the street, and you do hear what happened outside. Did you catch that, Sabin? What happened between Rain, Mutica, and Atson?
I did not.
Okay. You heard some running, and then you heard the Wanderer say, "You're okay, what's happened? You're injured." And then you heard Rain talk and said, "I found the two guys. They were in the inn called the Dragon's Rest. I confronted them, and when I tried to leave with them, they paid 5 guys to try and kill me, but I ran away, or worse to that effect. And Natsum and Mutica are there as well. And Natsum cast a healing spell on Rain. You heard that to heal him. And that's coming from about 10 foot away outside the window.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Then is that the thing that just happened most recently? I mean,
Yes,
sounds like there's some other things going on.
No,
Okay.
it's
So
just
yeah, I
happening
will
now.
head out there and just kind of see what's up.
Sean, you going as well?
Yeah.
Okay, you all head out. So you all meet up now. You're in the street just outside the inn. And you can see Rain's clothing is bloody and cut where he's been shivved a few times. But he looks okay.
Are there any like guards around?
You can see some guards now down the end of the street. They've just turned a corner and they're heading towards you, just walking along, there's two of them.
Okay.
I was gonna say I think we should get everyone in the inn. I don't know if we want to involve the guards just yet.
Well, no, I wasn't gonna involve the guards. My thought process was wait until it's darker, try and perform a stealth check, and head back to where I saw them. Like down to the alley where I saw them leave.
I'm gonna motion for everyone to get into the inn so we can talk about things.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if he's still injured.
No, he doesn't appear to be now. No, it doesn't appear to be injured at all.
Okay, yeah, then, sure. Then let's head back into the inn.
Into the private room.
What happened, man? So they hired 5 guys to attack you.
I'll start from the very beginning. I walked into the inn. Immediately I saw him, and immediately he saw me. I sat down next to him and asked him if he knew what had happened to the ship. He immediately said he thinks it was a dragon or magic. He was 100% lying. I asked him what he was doing in Arabelle, and he said he was looking for answers. Again, I'm 100% certain he was lying. I said to him, well, I'm looking for answers as well. I will come along with you. He said no. I tried to talk to the younger guy. He immediately said no. He wouldn't communicate with me. He wouldn't look at me. He wouldn't acknowledge me. As they went to leave, I tried to follow them, and that's when they hired the group of guys to try and kill me.
It seems like you're lucky to have escaped.
Very lucky.
Say, well, this seems to be good and bad news. It seems like they definitely have information about what's happened, but now they're also on to the fact that we're alive and looking for them. I mean, what do you guys think we should be doing right now? How do we deal with this?
I saw them walk down an alley. I think we should roam around the area when it gets pitch black.
I can't do shit at night though. I don't have night vision. I'm not really the best in the pitch black. I don't know that. My feeling is.
Well, maybe we don't need to flat out engage them, so to say. If we just have 2 or 3 people who can be stealthy and just try and find sneak around and overhear something, or just try and get a glimpse of them.
Do we have anyone like that? We lost. Chilled ran off into that rubble and the thing.
I can
Anyone
be
who's
stealthy.
stealthy? Yeah, I can be.
Okay. I mean, I obviously wouldn't want to ask you guys. Torvin wouldn't want to ask you guys to put yourselves in danger. But do you think the innkeep at the rest could provide any more information about those 2?
I would not personally want to go back there because that group could potentially be there. Like the
Okay, so
Well,
company.
then perhaps I should be the one to investigate a little bit further, seeing as how they haven't noticed me.
that's a good point, Saban. Maybe we do two options then. If you guys really want to, us using stealth, try to locate them, while Saban tries to see if he can get any information out of the innkeep. Because I feel like I don't have any other leads besides those two, right? And
The thing-
now you seem certain that they're involved in what happened.
This is a question to like High Rise. What
Yeah.
if we performed a stealth check? Would we be able to like potentially like get our weapons so we can use them and like use the stealth to avoid the guards at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, a stealth check would allow you to stay hidden in the darkness, and you could have your weapons out. And as long as you had a good enough roll, nobody saw you, then your weapons could be out and unsheathed, and that'd be fine. If that's what you mean.
Yes, that's what I mean.
I mean, it's in the middle of the night. I think you don't have to have your peace knot. They wouldn't notice that. Have a cloak over it or something.
Yeah,
No,
but
they wouldn't
the
unless
thing
they
is,
walk
for
right
like me,
past
is
you.
I don't have a string on my bow. I'd need to restring it.
If the
Yeah,
guards
I
walked
mean-
right past you at night and you didn't have a peace knot, they would notice, because they do look for that sort of thing. But of course, they would have to walk right past you because it's night. So as long as you didn't walk right past any guards, you'll be okay.
I mean, I have a dagger, which I imagine you don't have to have like peace knotted because it's like a little knife. Like
Yeah, it's fine.
everyone probably carries one of those. So I could just use one of those. If I could get up behind someone, I could potentially threaten someone with such a thing.
Okay, well, it
But
looks like
yeah.
we're not getting drunk tonight.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got to go here in a little bit.
This is where we're going to leave it anyway,
Okay.
because we've overshot by a way. So
It seems like a good place to stop.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Also, it allows me time to plan what you guys want to do. So just for my reference, so that I can make sure I'm all ready to go next week, what are you intending on doing this evening? And I'll make a note of it.
Gonna go check out the blacksmith.
It was real late at night last I checked. So did we? Are we going to go ahead and pursue or try and find and pursue the shipmates, or are we going to get a good night rest at the end and do it in the morning?
No,
Well, I
I'd
agree with
rather do it under the
Farron
cover of
in
darkness.
trying to do that bit at night.
I think
Okay.
time is of the essence. I think they're on to us. And,
Okay, so when we get back next week, we will be ready and going out pursuing these guys under the veil of night.
yeah. Well, I say when we start next week, we finalize the plan of how we're gonna try to track them down and then do it.
Well, I think High Rise kind of needs that information so that he
But
can plan
Okay.
things.
we are going to pursue them. We're gonna basically go around town, try and find these guys and talk to them, but also seek revenge for what's his name? Farron.
Is it? It's
Oh.
not going to be all of us though, is it? Because we need to, if we move as a big group, then we're not going to be able to hide from anything.
No, I
Yeah,
think,
unless
I
all of
think-
you are very stealthy.
No, but I think what we could do is like maybe Torben and Sean Falstag, the fighter and the barbarian. We'll just try to stay within earshot of you guys. Let you guys stealth and be where if something happened, we could come to your aid. I think that maybe we could do some plan like that while Sabin and maybe someone else that the thugs wouldn't recognize can try to get information out of the bartender at the Dragon's Rest. What do you
And-
guys think?
Yeah, and while we're looking for him, I can go tiger form and possibly hop on top of the buildings and scout out ahead, try and pinpoint the location, and come back and get everybody together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna move fast because it's been what, just a few minutes since the attack, right? And we're just gonna make a plan and go back out.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
So I resend my initial claim that I was gonna go check out the blacksmith. I was thinking like you meant like on the downtime. If there is no downtime, then yes, I will assist them in whatever they need.
Sure. That's yeah. That's all I need. I can work with that. That's cool. Thank you.
All right, cool.
Okay, thanks, man.
Thank you, chaps.
All right, it was fun. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Have a good
Yep.
See you then.
Okay,
See ya.
bye.
User disconnected from your channel. User left your channel.
I am so glad I'm still alive. I thought I was dead, man.